Chapter 1161. At this moment, LV Chinlian's jade palm was close to Evil Snake King's palm and she felt a power that felt like a vast ocean pounding against it. She was extremely shocked. What Evil Snake King said was true, the demonic energy was far above her, causing her expression to turn serious again. If he were to withdraw his palm now, LV Chinlian would definitely be severely injured by the dense power released from the Evil Snake King. If it was serious, he could even kill her with it, at least because the spirit demon core was damaged or if her meridians were severely injured. LV Chinlian's cultivation was not weak either, she could also severely injure the Evil Snake King, thus, in the end, both of them would suffer, unless the two of them stopped their cultivation at the same time, but at the moment, it seemed that it was impossible. Chen Shang was currently surrounded by a few female demons, chattering away passionately. "Sisters, all of you heal your wounds first. I'm going to help your big sister." Chen Shang had only eaten a Qi Shen Dan, allowing himself to recover the energy that he had lost earlier. "This, young Master Shen, that Evil Snake King is so powerful, you better not go. Our big sister can handle it, we are worried that you will be affected." Quote. When she looked at Chen Shang, her coquettish eyes seemed to be dripping with water. Furthermore, she had even held onto Chen Zhang's big hand, and caressed him gently, causing Chen Zhang's heart to waver. Although the spirit demons of the Demon Charming Association were not really close to men, once they got close to him, they would definitely be extremely passionate, as if they wanted to swallow him whole. This was the situation Chen Shang was in right now. "They're right. If you come here, you're just looking to die. But I usually like to send people to their deaths." Then, an extremely evil force surged over. Although they could not see the evil force, Chen Shang and the others felt as if they were standing on the shore of an ocean, looking at the frightening waves that were crazily surging towards them. Without even thinking, he knew who the person who released this power was. It was the Evil Snake King. Chen Shang bellowed. He took out the Holy Devil suppressing seal and had it form a golden shield of light above him, enveloping him and the female demons. Just as the golden barrier of light appeared, the evil force immediately rushed over, like a gigantic and transparent shovel, lifting up a thick layer of the ground. If not for the protection of the Holy Devil suppressing seal, Chen Shang and the rest would have been blown away along with the soil, and would have been injured by the evil spirit Qi. "You guys leave this place first, I'll block this guy." Chen Shang looked at the handsome man who was standing in the sky. It had to be said that even the Banshee Immortals beside Chen Shang were a little jealous of his face. "Hurry up and leave." Chen Shang pushed the few ladies by his side, his voice becoming extremely serious. "This is not him, it's just a clone of him, but its strength is very strong, all of you are injured, and after using up a bit of strength, you guys cannot continue fighting with this guy." The 5 Banshee Immortals softly muttered a few words to each other, then quickly left to find the other demonic spirits to meet up with them. "Don't even think about leaving. My people are all dead. You can't live on either." Evil Snake King extended her slender hand, her palm facing the Banshee Immortals that had already flown far away. Then, a ray of grayish-black evil light shot out from her palm. Just at that moment, Chen Shang shuttled through space, took out the Holy Devil suppressing seal, and used the seal to face Evil Snake King's avatar. The evil light shot over, and became extremely huge, condensing a terrifying evil energy that shook the earth. Chen Shang felt the Holy Devil suppressing seal more and more. He originally thought that this Holy Devil suppressing seal was just some kind of seal or something similar, but the power to restrain demons surpassed that of the green dragon demon slain broadsword. No wonder. So it's a Holy Devil suppressing seal. Why is the Devil suppressing Heavenly Venerable's destiny seal in your hands? HMPH, if I let the people from Devil suppressing Divine Palace find out, you would have been torn apart by them when you went to Heaven Realm. Before, Evil Snake King had a relaxed expression. She thought that her clone could easily kill Chen Shang, but after seeing this Holy Devil suppressing seal, her face had a never-before-seen grave expression. This Evil Snake King was truly powerful. While fighting with LV Chinlian, he could even use a supreme secret technique to split up his clones to deal with Chen Shang and the others. Furthermore, he was very strong, so Chen Shang wasn't confident that he could defeat his clones, unless he could borrow Long Shui's strength. "Although this is my doppelganger, it is enough to deal with you. Although you have Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword S and Holy Devil Suppressing Seal S, you can only bring out a small part of the power of these 2 divine weapons." Evil Snake King opened his mouth and spat out a ray of red light, that looked like a snake or apricot, towards Chen Zhang's throat. When Chen Shang saw this, he immediately used his Holy Devil Suppressing Seal to block in front of him. However, what he did not expect was that this frightening red light that was like a snake's apricot could actually penetrate space and avoid the holy devil suppressing seal's holy light, directly piercing through and appearing in front of his throat. Just as the snake apricot was about to pierce Chen Zhang's throat, a layer of flaming red scales suddenly appeared on Chen Zhang's throat. This was a dragon's scale, it looked like a burning red ruby, and it flickered with lightning as it blocked the vicious snake apricot. Chen Zhang's martial spirit was the fire thunder dragon soul, it had the nature of fire and lightning, but because his martial spirit had not fully matured, it had not become a 5 elements dragon soul, so he rarely used it. The thing that shot out from Evil Snake King's mouth was really his snake apricot, but it was extremely powerful, its speed was like light, and it could even penetrate space. No wonder he was so confident in killing Chen Shang. "Do you want me to take action?" Long Shui asked. She was a white dragon, and was as powerful as a holy dragon in the Imperial Dragon clan. Furthermore, she had a lot of inherited memories. "Not for now, I destroyed his avatar and also killed his original body. If I borrow your power, once I'm done, I'll have to lie in bed for a while to recover," Chen Shang said anxiously, but at the same time, the snake apricot shot out once again. Chen Shang was already a special character of snake apricot, so he immediately used the power of the spatial laws to strengthen the space in front of the holy devil suppressing seal, preventing the snake apricot from penetrating through the space. As a result, when the snake apricot hit the holy devil suppressing seal, it was like a burning red iron plate that was burned, causing Evil Snake King's handsome face to turn sinister. "When I attack and kill him in one go, those fellows who look down on me will not have a good ending." Chen Shang clenched his fists tightly, his eyes suddenly became as deep as the ocean, and a map of the mountains and rivers suddenly appeared behind him. On his head was a star map, and below his feet was a giant elephant, it was as tall as a mountain. The most shocking thing was that it was constantly emitting killing intent. That killing intent enveloped the entire Spirite vein, making people feel like this was an ancient battlefield filled with endless killing intent and death aura. Chen Zhang's killing heart crazily throbbed, and with a putong putong sound, the murderous aura continuously released a wave of killing intent, causing the sky to change color. Everything is destroyed. The mountain, sea and river diagram on Chen Zhang's back, the great void constellation diagram above his head, and the gigantic deity image below his feet, suddenly turned into a bright red light and merged into one with Chen Shang. Chen Shang held the green dragon demon slain broadsword, it merged with the green dragon demon slain broadsword, and with a force that could destroy the heavens and the earth, he slashed at the Evil Snake King's clone in the distance. Slash! Chen Shang roared, the divine blade slashed, the sky shook, space ruptured, the Evil Snake King's clone could not move at that moment, he was already completely engulfed by Chen Zhang's killing intent and was locked onto by it. He only had one outcome, and that was death. Boom! The blade light enveloped the ground, with a rumbling sound, Evil Snake King's body was struck by the unparalleled killing intent, accompanied by the powerful devil-suppressing holy power, his soul was also attacked by the extremely strong god-slaying art, the avatar's soul disappeared, its flesh was destroyed, and it was burnt to ashes by the last bit of force. Since ancient times, evil has never been righteous. Demons are demons. Chen Shang heaved a sigh of relief, his face looked somewhat haggard, he anxiously swallowed a few Qi Shen Dan-s, that was his full force attack just now, the energy consumption was huge. Chapter 1162, When the Evil Snake King's clone was destroyed, the original body was also affected greatly. At this moment, his face was extremely ugly, causing LV Qinlian to be secretly happy, because she had the chance to get out of this predicament, but suddenly, she caught a glimpse of the sinister look that flashed past Evil Snake King's eyes, causing her heart to immediately tremble. Ha ha ha, Evil Snake King's handsome face suddenly contorted, and he laughed sinisterly, "Don't expect to knock me down like this. Go to hell, bitch." Both of Evil Snake King's eyes were suddenly filled with blood-red light waves. He looked extremely terrifying as he laughed crazily and maliciously, his slender arms suddenly becoming obese, with his sleeves swollen to the point where it revealed a black arm full of scales. When LV Qinlian saw the look in Evil Snake King's eyes earlier, he had already known that Evil Snake King intended to perish together with her. Boom! A loud explosion sounded suddenly, the intense sound wave split the ground and the layer of smoke that was shrouding the entire area should not be blown away, the red light shot out, and then an Evil Snake King slowly descended onto the ground. They did not die, but blood leaked out of their mouths, their faces were pale white, it was obvious that they suffered heavy internal injuries. Chen Shang used the power of the spatial laws to the limit, traveled a large distance, and arrived at the place where the evil Snake King and LV Qinlian had landed. The moment evil Snake King touched the ground, Chen Shang suddenly appeared. The holy devil-suppressing seal and the green dragon demon-slaying broadsword had fused together, and the devil-suppressing holy power was being used to the extreme by Chen Shang, so the moment he appeared, he fiercely slashed down at the evil Snake King with his blade. The blade glow was 30,000 meters long, and the killing intent was intermittent. Even LV Qinlian, who was at the side, felt the incomparably powerful strength concealed within Chen Shang, making her feel as if she was facing the mysterious great elder of the dragon subduing school. Chen Zhang's sudden arrival and sudden attack were completely unexpected to evil Snake King. He predicted that Chen Shang would definitely rush over, but he never expected that Chen Shang would actually be so fast. Although evil Snake King was heavily injured, a skinny camel was still bigger than a horse. His body instinctively moved to dodge, which was a type of instinctive power that he accumulated through his years of fighting. Ah! Evil Snake King cried out in pain. Even though he dodged, his shoulder was still cut by Chen Zhang's blade, and half of his body, along with his entire arm, had been cut off by Chen Shang. Just you wait, evil Snake Mountain will not let you off. The evil Snake King's sinister and resentful voice echoed in the horizon layer by layer, and when Chen Shang made his second slash, his body had already turned into a layer of black mist, which then seeped into the ground and disappeared. What a shame, such a good chance for him to run away. At this moment, her face was completely pale. However, there was a holy lotus seed in her body, which allowed her to recover her injuries by absorbing the power inside the holy lotus seed. However, when Chen Shang helped her up now, he could feel that her body was extremely cold. I've been poisoned. LV Qinlian, who had just stood up, immediately fell into Chen Zhang's embrace after saying that. Chen Shang held her tightly and immediately released a warm fire chi to help LV Qinlian expel the poison. At this time, Chen Shang felt more and more that the delicate body that was being embraced by her was releasing an oppressive cold aura. He looked at LV Qinlian, who had an ugly expression, and hastily asked, "Sister Lian, what poison are you infected with? Why are you so powerful that even you cannot withstand it?" "I've been severely injured, and I don't have the power to expel the poison." LV Qinlian tightly hugged Chen Zhang's warm and sturdy body, and slowly closed his eyes, as though he could not hold on much longer. Chen Shang was extremely anxious. He immediately cut open his wrist and let out a bit of blood, which entered into LV Qinlian's mouth. Although his blood could not be detoxified by Wang Quan, but he could still resist the poison's invasion. He carried LV Qinlian and left the Spirite Vansh, who were full of scars, arriving in a quiet mountain forest. LV Qinlian's complexion had improved a lot, but the cold poison in her body was still wreaking havoc in her body. "It's the profound in poison. I never thought that this evil Snake King would have this kind of poison, and that they would even completely infuse it into my body at the last moment." It signaled that the profound in poison is the weakest kind of super old poison, otherwise I would have died a long time ago. Quote. LV Qinlian was able to speak now, and she was still lying in Chen Zhang's embrace. Because the anger Chen Shang had released made her feel very comfortable, and she didn't want to leave. Seeing that LV Qinlian had woken up, Chen Shang could still speak. He let out a light breath and said, "Sister Lian, you scared me to death. How are your injuries?" LV Qinlian stuck her face on Chen Zhang's chest. It was her first time being in such close contact with a man, moreover it was when she was at her weakest and when she needed help the most. She, who was cold all over, did not want to leave Chen Zhang's embrace at all, and only wanted to be hugged by him forever. "My internal injuries are very serious. My beast core is damaged, but I have the holy lotus seed in my body. I can absorb the power of the holy lotus seed and quickly stabilize my injuries." Although LV Qinlian was heavily injured and poisoned, lying in Chen Zhang's embrace, his heart throbbed inexplicably, giving him a strange feeling that was hard to describe. "Then take a good rest, Sister Lian. Why did that evil Snake King suddenly appear?" Chen Shang felt that LV Qinlian was hugging him tightly, and was even rubbing against his body from time to time. This made him feel a strange feeling in his heart. LV Qinlian felt that Chen Zhang's hand was gently stroking her hair and was stunned for a moment. Then, he said quietly, "I think it's the people from Demon Realm and Devil Realm who are trying to provoke him to come out to weaken my strength. Although he is a snake demon, he is still using power from the Heaven Demon world. Currently, he is at DTN's side. He definitely has a good relationship with the Devil Realm, because the Demon Charming Association is the best at fighting against the evil Snake Mountain. They are not afraid of our poison. Sister Lian, he used the profound Bing's evil poison, since it's one of the super old poison, if we were to spread the word, will his situation be very dangerous? Chen Shang touched LV Qinlian's beautiful face, it was not as cold as before. LV Qinlian nodded and said, I will definitely reveal this matter. As long as this matter gets out, regardless of whether others believe it or not, I will still be wary of the evil Snake King. Of course, if it's the heaven realm, as long as I appear and let others see the profound Bing's evil poison that I speak of, the evil Snake King will definitely be hunted. Sister Lian, that Xiao Yao over there, he's that little demon. Chen Shang looked at the flower on LV Qinlian's hairpin, and did not sense the aura of the spirit demon at all. She's in me. Inside my spirit demon core is a lotus flower, Xiao Yao is sleeping inside. LV Qinlian chuckled, I was already like this, but I still wasn't able to wake the little girl up. Speaking of Xiao Yao, the little demon, Chen Shang thought of those primordial profound Bings. He had just obtained a large number of profound Bing from a warehouse set up by the Fire Divine Palace in profound cold ancient realm, and he even knew about the dirty deeds that the Fire Divine Palace had done in the profound cold ancient realm. Chen Shang told this to LV Qinlian, causing him to frown. No wonder when my demon charming association's spirit demon goes to profound cold ancient realm, he would meet some fellows from Fire Divine Palace. However, our spirit demon wasn't attacked. Could it be that Fire Divine Palace is afraid of the poison of those spirit demons? Anyways, this matter must definitely be spread. We cannot let Fire Divine Palace continue like this. That's right, the reason why Fire Divine Palace does this seems to be to revive a guy called Ice Emperor. Just as Chen Shang spoke of Ice Emperor, the frail beauty in his arms suddenly trembled. LV Qinlian widened his beautiful, soul-stirring eyes and looked at Chen Shang with a face full of shock. You are talking about the Ice Emperor. I have heard of him before, he is a very impressive person, I never thought that he could be revived, please do not let him come back to life. LV Qinlian looked at the sky and fell into deep thought. The Ice Emperor was a very amazing person, but why couldn't he revive them? With DTN in this kind of terrible situation, he needed a strong capable person to intimidate the entire DTN and maintain order in the DTN. Chen Shang caressed his face that was as beautiful as jade with LV Qinlian, and asked softly, Sister Lian, what kind of background does Ice Emperor have, can you tell me? Chapter 1163. Many people in the current DTN had heard of the matters regarding the Ten Heavens Supreme Lord. However, the detailed history of the time when the Ten Heavens Supreme Lord fell, and what happened after that, very few people knew that. After the fall of the Ten Heavens Supreme Lord, many things happened. Although DTN had been reborn, it did not mean that he would continue to live. Perhaps he would end up like the past, shattering once again and turning into a low-level little world. LV Qinlian held Chen Zhang's big hand and gently rubbed it, feeling the warmth from the hand. She who was immersed in her memories, looked far away and said, Ninth heaven and 10 great earth, in those 9 days, there were already 9 emperors. They were known to be the kings of the land and the skies. Rumor has it that this was the history of those 9 emperors and the 10 kings of the 9 emperors. However, after the appearance of the 10 heavens Supreme Lord and the unification of the 9 heavens and 10 earth, as well as the establishment of DTN, the 10 heavens Supreme Lord still retained the authority of the 9 emperor 10 kings and let the 9 emperor 10 kings manage their respective territories. Quote. So that's how it is. What exactly is the hidden meaning of that piece of history? That's why it didn't come down. Chen Shang was very suspicious. LV Qinlian caressed Chen Zhang's handsome face with her somewhat ice-cold jade hand and said, I'm not sure, because I only know a few insignificant things. Carrying on with the matter of the Ice Emperor, you should be able to guess right now, the Ice Emperor is one of the emperors among the 10 kings of the 9 heavens and is in charge of the Ice Heaven. The reason I call him a figure is also because I've heard about him. In short, back then the 10 heavens Supreme Lord wanted to have a good order, and those who made him their enemy were mostly those who wanted to break the rules. And among the 10 emperors of the 9 emperor empire, the strength of those emperors were not weak. It is normal for them to want to defeat the 10 heavens Supreme Lord and obtain the position of the 10 heavens Supreme Lord. LV Qinlian paused for a moment, before continuing, therefore, I feel that the Ice Emperor is not a good person. If he is allowed to revive, then DTN will be in great danger. Chen Shang naturally understood, but he now felt that it was very strange that there was any connection between profound cold ancient realm and him. Ice Emperor could use those profound Bings to revive, and Ice Emperor appearing in Profound Cold Ancient Realm was clearly not a coincidence. Moreover, the hidden dangers of Profound Cold Ancient Realm were things that could only be touched by people like the White Tiger and 10 Heavens Supreme Lord. It could be seen how mysterious Profound Cold Ancient Realm was. Chen Shang did not want to take any risks right now, because for someone with his strength, going to Profound Cold Ancient Realm was simply courting death. Sister Lian, rest well. I will carry you to sleep tonight. Don't let out that poisonous scent. Chen Shang said smilingly as he looked at LV Qinlian's better complexion. LV Qinlian pouted playfully, urged Chen Shang on his chest, and shrunk into Chen Zhang's embrace. She closed her eyes and stabilized her injuries with the help of the holy lotus seed in her body. Chen Shang looked at the goblin beauty in his arms as he sighed in his heart. If it was before, many forces would take advantage of Demon Charming Association and not dare to go against him, but it was different now. LV Qinlian from Demon Charming Association was severely injured, and he would not be able to recover to his peak condition in a short while. At night, the insects in the forest chirped, and with the help of the breeze, LV Qinlian slept even better. Chen Shang carried her, and stared unblinkingly at her beautiful face, suddenly wanting to go over to her cherry red lips, but he didn't dare do so. If LV Qinlian were to release those poisonous scents, he would be in trouble. This poison beauty's entire body is covered with thorns. Sigh, Chen Shang sighed, but he still kept stroking his face that was able to cause people's divine soul to turn upside down. Chen Shang raised his head and looked at the stars in the sky through the gaps between the leaves, and thought to himself, this is a new world, so it should be us newcomers challenging it. It seems like this is already destined to happen. LV Qinlian could be considered a completely old person here, as he could be said to have broken the balance of this new era. This made Chen Shang feel that it was possible that this was deliberately arranged by someone, which caused the evil Snake King, who was hiding in the shadows of DTN, to be subjected to this kind of thing. The evil Snake King was definitely in a tough spot, and he was definitely heavily injured. As for whether or not there were any other powerful existences in the new DTN, it was unknown, but Chen Shang had to prepare in this regard. On the second day, when LV Qinlian woke up, her body was no longer cold, but the profound poison in her body had not been completely expelled. This profound poison was not the type to immediately cause her death. However, at that time when Chen Shang had not used his own blood to help LV Qinlian, coupled with the fact that LV Qinlian had a certain resistance to poisons, she would have been poisoned to death by the cold poison long ago. Although LV Qinlian looked fine now, the cold poison in her body made it impossible for her to unleash a strong power. When she used her poison to attack, she needed a very strong power to inject the poison into the enemy's body. After LV Qinlian recovered, her delicate and refined face revealed a smile that she never had before. Her pair of beautiful eyes revealed a strange luster, and she looked like she liked to be more lively and gentle than before. At this time, Chen Zhang's heart was heavy. Without the Demon Charming Association, he had to come up with many new plans to protect the dragon subduing city or ally with the Chen Martial continent. Seeing his expression, LV Qinlian immediately pouted and said, "Little guy, big sis is so energetic, why are you so unhappy?" Chen Shang came back to reality and smiled at her. "Of course, because I can't carry you anymore. I really want to hug you like that every day." LV Qinlian said in a tender voice, "Little scoundrel, you're being dishonest again. Don't tell me you forgot about the matter of the poisonous scent I carried last time." Although she said this, she was smiling inside. "I would be willing to be poisoned to death." Chen Shang laughed shamelessly. "Heh." LV Qinlian lovingly snorted a few times, before sighing softly, "Chen Shang, I promised to help you protect the Chen Martial continent, but now, I'm so sorry." Quote. LV Qinlian felt extremely guilty. She had done what Chen Shang had done to her, but now it had become like this, making her hated herself for being too weak to fight against the evil Snake King, resulting in this situation. "Don't mind it." Chen Shang didn't blame LV Qinlian in the slightest. He said in a serious tone, "Sister Lian, don't feel guilty. If you feel that you owe me a lot, promise me one thing." Seeing Chen Shang being so serious, LV Qinlian asked anxiously, "What's the matter?" "That is to have the Demon Charming Association withdraw from DTN's dispute. I feel that this place is not suitable for you all for now." LV Qinlian was very smart, and would very soon find out Chen Zhang's thoughts. She let out a light sigh, and suddenly nodded, "I'll listen to you." Chen Shang and LV Qinlian found those fae and fairies who came with them. Since Chen Shang didn't have any other urgent matters at the moment, he started to speak amicably with those fairies in front of LV Qinlian. What made LV Qinlian grind his teeth in anger was that, not only did Chen Shang use his words to tease these spirit demon beings, he even made his move. He either rubbed his thighs, or rubbed his chest, or pinched his cheeks, and that group of spirit demons was very happy. Once news of LV Qinlian's heavy injuries got out, the spirit demon beings of the Demon Charming Association would probably be in big trouble, so LV Qinlian immediately gathered the spirit demons of other places and transferred all the businesses back to the Demon Charming Association. Originally, she wanted to give it to Chen Shang, but Chen Shang didn't. In just 10 short days, all of the spirit demons of the Demon Charming Association in various places of DTN had disappeared. The rumors about LV Qinlian and the great battle of the evil Snake King spread out. Of course, the fact that the evil Snake King had profound and poison was also known by many. Now, many great powers had adjusted their original plans. Because the Chen Martial Continent had lost the protection of the Demon Charming Association, those powers who had always regarded the Chen Martial Continent as their thorn were all ready to make a move. The reason why the Chen Martial Continent was so important was because the Chen Martial Continent might very well become the center of new Imperial Heaven World. This meant that there was a high chance that new dragon veins would appear in the Chen Martial Continent, something many old fellows of the Heaven Realm had predicted. Of course, right now, they were not foolish enough to have any powers immediately attack Chen Martial Continent, because no one was sure if the Demon Charming Association would really stop protecting the Chen Martial Continent. Moreover, who didn't know the relationship between Chen Shang and the Chen Martial Continent, and that this young brat was the nightmare of many old fellows who would dare to provoke him. Although it was the dragon subduing school, if someone offended him, that person would not be reduced. They would be exterminated, abused, and slaughtered. Chapter 1164. Evil Snake King did not die, so he would make a comeback in the future. However, Chen Shang was really looking forward to that moment. He was confident that if there was a day he could definitely kill the evil Snake King's main body. More than 10 days had passed since Chen Shang helped the Demon Charming Association. He was in a very secretive place, using the Chaos Divine Eye to look through the primordial profound being that he snatched from the underground palace. He had looked at more than 100 pieces consecutively, but he did not find anything inside. Although the special cold power released by the profound being was extremely strong, from their outer appearance, they were all top-grade items. If he were to auction them, he was sure that they would fetch a high price. What the F***ck? There's already more than 1,000 pieces of archaic profound being, not even a single one is inside. Chen Shang laid on his back on the ground, rubbing the opened Chaos Divine Eye between his brows with both hands. At this moment, he was in the belly of a mountain, his face full of fatigue. After looking carefully at so many profound beings for more than 10 days in a row, it was impossible for him to not be tired. These profound beings all looked very good, but there were more than 1,000 of them now, and there was nothing inside, which made Chen Shang extremely disappointed. Of course, he could sell these profound beings or give them to him to use as profound being pills, as the value of using them was still very high. The last time I entered those underground palaces, I heard those guys mention that the profound being would. Maybe when the time came, I would be able to get profound being with treasures. Chen Shang suddenly thought of this matter, and the profound being conference was about to begin. He did not continue to look at the remaining 2,000 profound being. That would take too much time. If he finished, he would not be able to participate in the profound being conference. I still have 2 treasure chests. When I have time, I will think of a way to replenish the energy in the Ice Dragon Sword's sheath and open those 2 treasure chests. Chen Shang had always been thinking about the 2 treasure chests, but it would be extremely difficult for him to replenish the power of the Ice Dragon Sword's sheath. Chen Shang did not have that kind of patience. He also believed that he would be able to find the power to replenish the key and open the remaining 2 treasure chests. The hammer of God that he had gotten from opening the treasure chest last time was a supreme treasure. This could allow him to avoid using Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword in the future, and at least have a powerful weapon that he could use. Chen Shang used a large number of spars and finally understood what was going on with the Profound Being. The Profound Being would be held in the Profound Ice City, and the Profound Ice City would be located at the outskirts of the Profound Cold Ancient Realm, where the transmission array would exist. In that way, the Northern Goblin City, which the Demon Charming Association was in control of, would lose its advantage, but the Demon Charming Association did not care at the moment, as LV Qinlian needed to recuperate from her injuries. Therefore, when LV Chinlian had initially decided to withdraw from the new Imperial Heaven Worlds competition, he had also considered this point. Her Demon Charming Association had a lot of resources. After quitting, she had transferred all her assets to him, and had also gained a large sum. At first, Chen Shang thought that the Profound Ice City was a city covered in snow and ice, but after arriving here, he found it hard to believe that the Profound Ice City was located in the snow and ice outside the profound cold ancient realm. The only difference was that the entire city was enveloped by a faintly golden barrier of air that could be seen with the naked eye. The cold wind could not blow in, and the ice and snow would not appear here either. The light from the outside penetrated through the barrier of light, making the entire city seem as if it was being illuminated by warm sunlight. To be able to create such a city meant that the power that controlled the city had set its sights on it, and used its greatest strength to build the city well, attracting a large number of people. From this, it could also mean that the power that controlled the city was very powerful, because the powerful formation that enveloped the city was not something that a normal power could build. The qualifications to participate in the Profound Being S meeting in Profound Ice City is very high. One must either have high-quality Profound Being S with stones, or have 300 billion Spar S, because when the Profound Being meets, there will be giant auctions, or gambling with Profound Being S, and the activities of Profound Being exhibitions will all require a large number of Spar S. The Profound Being S were divided into 4 ranks, upper, middle, and top. The lower tier was the worst, and of course, this was determined by the cold chi and appearance that the Profound Being released. Due to psychological effects, many people believed that this kind of Profound Being had a higher chance of producing treasures. Chen Shang obtained the qualifications to have 300 billion Spar. It was not like he did not have 10 high-quality Profound Being S. He had over 3,000 of these Profound Being. It was just that he stole all of these Profound Being. If he took them out, they would definitely recognize him. Although he did not know which power was in charge of the Profound Ice City, Chen Shang could roughly guess that only the Fire Divine Palace had this kind of arm. Regardless if it was held by the Fire Divine Palace, Chen Shang planned to join in the fun. If he saw Profound Being S with treasures inside, he would use any means to get them. After obtaining the qualifications to participate in this great assembly, Chen Shang waited in a restaurant to begin. After a few days passed, Chen Shang could hear people exclaiming in the streets every day, saying that some important figures or big shots of some kind had come. Although Chen Shang did not know who those big shots were and he had not heard of them, he knew that there were a lot of strong people who had come to participate in the Profound Being conference, and they seemed to be newly formed powers. In the morning, Chen Shang was walking on a wide and uninhabited street. Because of the Profound Being South meeting, this street was sealed today, and only those who had qualifications to participate in the Profound Being S meeting could enter. When Chen Shang arrived at the entrance, he could feel a very familiar fire aura. It belonged to the Fire Divine Palace, but this could only mean that the Fire Divine Palace was participating in the competition, which did not mean that this villa was the lair of the Fire Divine Palace. However, it made Chen Shang more or less certain that this Profound Ice City was somehow related to the Fire Divine Palace, or it could be done by the Fire Divine Palace allied forces. The villa was called the Raging Flames Villa. Upon entering the villa, he immediately felt a warm wave of heat that made his body feel indescribably comfortable. Entering the villa, Chen Shang heard the question of the servants guarding the road and knew where the main hall was. That was the place where the Profound Being S were displayed, and was also the place where the participants of the Profound Being S meeting would show off the unique Profound Being S that he had obtained. If anyone had their eyes on them, he could directly buy them here, but the prices required both parties to communicate with each other. There were at least 300 billion Spar, or 10 high-quality Profound Being, and a few mid-quality Profound Being that were able to participate in the Profound Being S. Although they couldn't be sure that there were treasures in the Profound Being S, they were all expensive. When Chen Shang arrived at the exhibition hall, he saw that there were trillions of ancient Profound Being S called Gold Dragon Ice S. They were dazzling in gold and looked like a golden dragon made out of gold, hovering above a pillar while holding a golden pearl in its mouth. A naturally formed Profound Being could look like this. It was truly strange. Furthermore, the cold chi that the gold dragon ice was releasing was also very strong. It was much stronger than the high-quality Profound Being. Chen Shang strolled around a few times, and finally stood in front of the gold dragon ice, and then carefully looked at it. He could use the Chaos Divine Eye to look at the extremely valuable treasures inside, because he also felt that this gold dragon ice was very special. There were a lot of people watching the gold dragon ice, and it wasn't easy for Chen Shang to squeeze in, so he could look even more closely, and he heard the people around talking about the gold dragon ice. Most people thought that the gold dragon ice had good things, but no one bought them, because the price of the gold dragon ice was 1.8 trillion. There were many people who wanted to buy it, but they were embarrassed and could only drool. They cursed the wastrel who took out the gold dragon ice to sell. This sort of thing should have been left for them to sell. They actually dared to take it out. Chen Shang snickered in his heart, because more and more people used the profounding's appearance to determine if there were any treasures inside. If it was possible, Chen Shang would really like to see those normal profounding, because he felt that the possibility of these normal profounding having treasures was much higher than those beautiful profounding. The more than 3,000 profounding he got from the Fire Divine Palace already had 1,000 of them, but they did not have any treasures right now. Chapter 1165. Many people were commenting about the gold dragon ice, only Chen Shang was looking at it very carefully, with a focused expression. Some people thought that he was pretending to understand the profounding, especially those who often played with it, because they believed that they were certain that there were definitely treasures inside. Chen Shang used the Chaos Divine Eye to look carefully a few times, but he still could not find anything inside the profounding. He could not help but shake his head and sigh. Such a beautiful piece of profounding with no treasures inside, which made him feel that it was a pity. At the same time, he was even more sure that these gaudy profounding actually had nothing inside. Brother, what are you sighing for? It's normal that you can't afford it. Just now, you were squeezing around this gold dragon ice. Do you really think you can see if there's anything inside? An old man who was trampled on by Chen Shang just now was kept in mind. Seeing Chen Shang looking at him in such a serious manner, his heart was in a mess, so he started to complain. Chen Shang was currently a long-bearded middle-aged man. He shook his head and said, "No, I'm sighing because this gold dragon ice looks so good, but there's nothing inside." Chen Shang was speaking the truth. Although his voice was low, the people who were able to come here had good hearing, and could hear what Chen Shang said. Hearing Chen Shang say that, everyone was enraged, and scolded themselves. What do you know? Seeing everyone's expressions, Chen Shang did not say any more. He was indeed speaking the truth just now. Nonsense, such a strange piece of profounding, naturally formed dragons, how can there not be treasures inside? If there aren't any treasures, how did this profounding turn into a dragon? A black-clothed man coldly snorted. Chen Shang said, "I have seen many strange profounding, but very few of them were able to produce treasures, so I would like to ask why these strange profounding do not have any treasures. These profounding do not have any treasures, but the profounding are still unique." There were a lot of things like what he said just now, and those people were speechless at this moment. However, the black-clothed man still said resolutely, "Didn't you see that the gold dragon ice were incomparable to those strange profounding? There must be treasures inside the gold dragon ice." Chen Shang laughed coldly. "It's useless to say anything unless you break it down and take a look." "That's right, but if you want to break through the profounding, then you have to buy it. This is a huge gamble. Which one of you two would dare to do that? Don't just talk. Arguing is meaningless. Call him and do something. Buy it, break it." Everyone jeered. Chen Shang said loudly towards the black-clothed man, "If my guess is right, then this gold dragon ice should belong to this brother. Since you are so sure that there are treasures inside the gold dragon ice, why not open it yourself and shout it out? What are your intentions?" Hearing Chen Zhang's words, everyone began to discuss softly, especially when they saw the muscles on the man in black's face twitch. They were even more certain that this gold dragon ice was his. Chen Shang originally did not dare to be sure, so he was only casually saying that even if the gold dragon ice was not the black-clothed man's, he did not suffer any losses. Since he was so sure that there were treasures inside the gold dragon ice, why did he not break through the profounding and instead sell it here at a high price? As long as he was not stupid, everyone would understand that this guy did not have much confidence in his gold dragon ice, but he was sure that there were treasures inside the gold dragon ice. Seeing that the black-clothed man had nothing to say, Chen Shang laughed secretly in his heart. The reason he came here today was to join in on the fun, and then to cause some trouble. With such a high quality of cold energy like this gold dragon ice, he definitely could not let the Fire Divine Palace take it away to revive the Ice Emperor. Therefore, Chen Shang decided to destroy the profounding. The man in black took a deep breath, and cursed at Chen Shang many times in his heart before he said slowly, "There must be some treasures inside the gold dragon ice, but there are also some treasures of various grades, and I am not sure what this treasure is, so I took out the gold dragon ice to sell. If everyone wants to bet a bet, I can sell 1,500,000,000 of them right now. The crowd was in an uproar, but there were definitely not many people who wanted to buy it. The risk was too high, the price was too high, even a huge being like the Fire Divine Palace could not bear the price. Chen Shang laughed coldly. You just said it before, there's a treasure inside the gold dragon ice, but it can also be a treasure that's not good, your words aren't bad. That's right, there must be treasures inside the gold dragon ice. The man in black said with determination. And if not, Chen Shang looked at the gold dragon ice and said, if I buy this gold dragon ice, and there are no treasures inside, you can return to the 150 billion spar and give it to me. What do you think? Had also expected this, so he continued to say something extremely tempting. How about this, because I think that there are no treasures in the gold dragon ice, if I buy your gold dragon ice, if there are no treasures inside, then you can return 150 billion to me. If you have the treasure will belong to you and the 150 billion will belong to you. What do you think? The man in black thought for a moment and then shouted, no problem. Chen Shang immediately took out 150 billion spar. Dragon Subduing City had made a lot of spar, and he had it with him. Everyone immediately did not dare to look down on him anymore, because Chen Shang was not using 150 billion to buy the profound bank but to gamble. Furthermore, what he was betting on was not only the spar, but the treasures inside the profound bank. If the profound bank really had a precious treasure, he would definitely lose a lot. Everyone immediately retreated, far away from the gold dragon ice. They did not expect that the guy who kept saying that the gold dragon ice did not have any treasures was actually buying it now. Furthermore, he handed it over to the spar happily, which was truly admirable. Everyone was guessing the identity of this person. To have this kind of action, he definitely wasn't an ordinary person. The gold dragon ice was bought, and there was even a bet made. If this bet was won by Chen Shang, then Chen Shang would get nothing, and at most, make sure that there were no treasures inside the gold dragon ice. And if that man in black won, not only would he obtain treasures, he would also get 150 billion spar. The person who broke through the profound bing was the one who would be sent by the profound bing, and he used a sharp knife. As long as he stimulated the profound bing to the point where it could be broken into pieces, the gold dragon ice could be broken into pieces. Old mister, sorry for the trouble. After Chen Shang finished speaking, he retreated far away, lest others think that he was cheating, and the black-clothed man did the same as they kept their distance from Chen Shang, the three-man-tall gold dragon ice. The old man used his sharp knife and stabbed into the profound bing, only to see the gold dragon ice suddenly shatter, turning into a piece of ice and falling to the ground. There was a thick pile of ice crystal powder on the ground, and it was still unable to confirm if there were any treasures inside. The old man waved his sleeve, and used his strength to hold up the ice crystal powder, and then floated up like a curtain of water. Chen Shang laughed. Brother, don't tell me you want to go back on your words. The man in black clenched his fists tightly, appearing very excited. He rushed up and carefully examined the ice crystal powder. After searching carefully, he did not find any treasure. The 150 billion spar that did not have any warmth were about to be returned to Chen Shang, which made the man in black feel extremely unresigned in his heart. Although from the looks of the bet, he had gained a lot, but if he lost, his losses were not small either. Chen Shang stored away the ice crystal powder on the ground. This was his final goal, which was to obtain this gold dragon ice without spending a single spar. This ice crystal powder was trash in the eyes of many people, but in Chen Zhang's eyes, the high-grade materials for refining pills could become a very powerful killing tool in his hands. Who is this guy? A perfectly fine piece of gold dragon ice was destroyed by him like this. Investigate carefully for me. If he's not that powerful, teach him a lesson and destroy our plan. An old man from the manor said angrily. Before this, we had already investigated everyone who was qualified, but only this person was unable to find out. I think he used a disguise technique and a fake one. He must have a huge background. I'm sure he doesn't know if he is hostile towards us Fire Divine Palace or not. The old man from the Fire Divine Palace snorted. Regardless of whether or not he is hostile to our Fire Divine Palace, he must be taught a lesson for destroying a good profound being like the gold dragon ice. Chapter 1166. The profound being's showcase hall was very big. The gold dragon ice had already been broken down, and there were no treasures inside, causing those who wanted to buy the profound being to give up on the idea of taking the risk. Clearly, the other profound being were more or less the same. Although everyone knew about this, it was all because of the psychological effects of so whenever they saw some of the more peculiar-looking profound being, they all thought that it was possible that there were treasures inside. In this place, perhaps only Chen Shang could see whether or not there were treasures inside the profound being, but he did not have much hope for them. He felt that it would be very difficult to find treasures within the profound being, especially this kind of high-quality profound being. He was just curious how these profound being were formed. Chen Shang did not believe that these profound being were naturally formed. He felt that these profound being were all created on purpose and were discovered by people many years later. There were a lot of people in the exhibition hall, but there were many big shots or strong people gathered here. They had a lot of spar and there was nowhere for them to spend them, so naturally they wanted to try their luck here. Because some treasures were priceless treasures, no matter how many spar you had, they would not be willing to sell them to you. Brother, my tone of voice just now was a bit presumptuous, please forgive me. A black-clothed man walked to Chen Zhang's side and cupped his hands. Chen Shang never thought that he would actually take the initiative to apologize to him. But from the way things were going, although this man was a little aggressive on the inside, he was extremely upright. Although he had lost the bet, but he was very straightforward and also admitted defeat. I'm fine. I wonder what your name is. Chen Shang waved his hand at him and said. My name is Bai Xian, where's brother? The black-clothed man laughed and said, it was obvious that he wanted to become friends with Chen Shang. Chen Shang also wanted to know the location of the gold dragon ice and smiled apologetically, Kai Gui. Bai Xian was a little shorter than Chen Shang, but he had a tall and sturdy physique. Even though he was not handsome, he looked extremely charismatic, with a sharp horn on his face and a sense of steadiness, but the things that he had done before were clearly too impulsive. He understood now, and decided to become friends with Chen Shang. The two did not have any conflicts, and they were not narrow-minded people either, so they soon started talking. Chen Shang felt that this Bai Xian was not simple. Although he looked like someone who had endured the 6 nirvana tribulations, Chen Shang could feel that he was looking at flowers through the fog. Brother Bai, how did you get that gold dragon ice? It might not be easy to get hold of it. After Chen Shang and Bai Xian talked about a lot of things, they suddenly sent a sound transmission to Bai Xian and went straight to the point. Bai Xian was also not surprised. He replied with a sound transmission, I got it from the profound cold ancient realm. This gold dragon ice was buried very deeply. Actually, there is a secret which only very powerful forces know about. Quote. What secret? Chen Shang had always been curious about the origins of these unique profound being. Some of the deeper parts of the profound cold ancient realm have hidden rivers, and most of these unique profound being are submerged in these rivers. Although many of the powerful forces know about them, they cannot bring them up, because those underground rivers are exceptionally cold, and even the powerful immortals can turn into profound being. Quote. Chen Shang was secretly surprised. There was actually this kind of underground river in the profound cold ancient realm. He thought that it should be the reason behind the profound cold ancient realm's appearance. Those profound being were probably formed this way too. He planned to take a look at those underground rivers. Brother Bai, could it be that your gold dragon ice was obtained from there? It seems that you are not a simple person. Chen Shang looked at a 3-headed, tiger-shaped profound being, and secretly whispered to Bai Xian. I didn't get it, it was just a coincidence. When I met the gushing river, the gold dragon ice gushed out from the hole dug by someone else, but this situation is very rare, I was lucky. Chen Shang did not believe that Bai Xian was lucky, but this was a secret to other people getting rich. He was not too familiar with Bai Xian right now, so he would naturally not pursue the details to prevent others from feeling disgusted, but he already had a way to get Bai Xian to bring him to search for those underground rivers. Big brother Kai, why are you so sure that there are no treasures in my gold dragon ice? Don't say that you're just lucky, I can see that you were quite confident back then, and weren't those lucky gamblers. Bai Xian asked. He only planned to befriend Chen Shang because he had thought of this point. Chen Shang would definitely not say that he was able to tell that there was something inside the profound being, so he replied, it's just a little family heirloom secretary, but not every profound being is fine, especially those very ordinary profound being. I can't really tell, but if it's these high-quality profound being, I can easily see through them, but not all of them, then I'll be able to see through the gold dragon ice with a single glance. Hearing Chen Zhang's words, Bai Xian was extremely excited. I never thought that there would be someone as amazing as Big Brother Kai, who can see if there are any treasures inside the profound being. Although not all profound being can see it, this is pretty impressive. Bai Xian exclaimed in shock and secretly sighed in his heart. The only thing he had done in his bet with Chen Shang was to lose a piece of profound Bing. With regards to this, it allowed him to have a much better impression of Chen Shang, and also gave him the chance to meet someone like Chen Shang. Big brother Kai, since you have such a family heirloom secret technique, why don't we cooperate and use the profound Bing to make a fortune? Bai Xian whispered to Chen Shang. Chen Shang knew that it wouldn't be long before he would be able to follow Bai Xian to the profound cold ancient realm to look for the place where the hidden river gushed out. Brother Bai, I do not lack spar, I just want more high-quality profound Bing, because I feel that these broken profound Bing can be used for a high price. Chen Shang said. Bai Xian was shocked. It was not as if no one had done this before, but he knew that this, big brother Kai, in front of him had a secret technique. He might be able to use these profound Bings to create some powerful objects. Chen Shang released a little bit of sweetness to lure Bai Xian. If nothing unexpected happened, after the profound Bing ends, he should be able to follow Bai Xian to the profound cold ancient realm. Inside the showcase, not all the profound Bing were unique profound Bing of high quality, and there were also many so-called inferior profound Bing which were all ordinary. It was precisely from these inferior profound Bing that Chen Shang had produced this kind of impressive thing called philosophic stone. Chen Shang and Bai Xian walked over to those inferior profound Bings who had lost their luster in the showroom. Chen Shang noticed a round yellow profound Bing, and when he looked over, the chaos divine eye seemed to be able to see something from inside. There seems to be something inside this piece of profound Bing. I never thought that I would be able to see if there was anything inside this inferior profound Bing. This is my first time seeing it. Chen Shang sent a sound transmission to Bai Xian. In order for Bai Xian to believe in his secret technique, he had to prove it. Bai Xian was immediately overjoyed. Can you see what treasure is inside? No, I can only see if there's anything inside. Treasures or something are hard to see. Chen Shang was telling the truth. How much is this profound Bing worth? Chen Shang asked. An old man in charge walked over and said, these are not for sale, these are all gifts. Only by purchasing the designated profound Bings can you obtain these gifts. This is not a place to sell inferior profound Bings. Chen Shang nodded his head. So that's how it is. Didn't I say it before? How can we sell low-quality profound Bing here? He looked at Bai Xian and asked with a smile, I didn't buy anything from your gold dragon ice just now. Ever since the bet just now, Chen Shang and Chen Shang had been noticed by everyone here. The fact that they could become friends made many people quite surprised. That's because someone else prepared the gift, and someone else didn't. He knew that the two of them were old men. One of them could take out a gold dragon ice and the other could throw out more than 1 trillion spar in one breath. These were not people he could afford to offend. Chen Shang laughed. Oh, I don't know what kind of profound Bing I have to buy to be able to obtain this oval-shaped profound Bing, but I am actually a person who likes to take small advantages of others. Chen Shang was not so stupid as to directly say that he wanted to buy the oval-shaped profound Bing. Chapter 1167. Under the guidance of the old man, Chen Shang quickly found the seller and bought a high-quality profound Bing that was worth more than 500 billion, then went to a resting room with Bai Xian. Chen Shang took out the hammer of God, and lightly struck the head of it, opening that oval-shaped profound Bing, only to see a thumb-sized piece of immortal jade rolling inside. There is indeed something. Furthermore, it is a celestial jade. However, this is a bit of a loss. This piece of immortal jade was indeed not worth 500 billion spar, but Chen Shang had proven that he could see if there was anything inside the profound Bing or not. The celestial jade was very small, but Chen Shang could see it. If it was a big guy, it would be even easier. Then what about that piece of profound Bing that was bought with 500 billion, does that have a profound Bing inside? Bai Xian asked anxiously. Chen Shang shook his head. I can't tell. Because Chen Shang could not let this Bai Xian know that he could see very accurately. He wanted to create an illusion that Bai Xian would think that he was accurate at times and would not be able to see through him. Following that, Chen Shang broke through the profound Bing he had bought, but there was nothing inside. Chen Shang and Bai Xian could only sigh in disappointment. Although Chen Shang had lost a lot, he believed that the loss now was worth it, because it would allow him to obtain even more high-quality profound Bing, so he might not need to spend too much effort. Although he already had a lot of high-quality profound Bing, but he did not think that it would be enough. The profound Bing's exhibition hall will not close. If everyone has enough spar, you can come again. The next event will be a big one, and everyone should be looking forward to it. A middle-aged man said in a clear voice. Chen Shang looked at the middle-aged man and frowned because the middle-aged man had the aura of a fire divine palace. Just a moment ago, he felt that the middle-aged man was looking at his cultivation level. As expected of the fire divine palace, Chen Shang clenched his fists tightly, he felt that he was in danger. This was the territory of the Fire Divine Palace, and Fire Divine Palace was related to him, so he must not be weak. Everyone headed towards the auction house. Chen Shang walked in vigilantly as well as he sat in the middle row with Bai Xian. After everyone had left, the middle-aged man from earlier stepped onto the platform. Holding a bronze mirror in his hand, he swept his gaze over the crowd. Just as his gaze landed on Chen Zhang's body, Chen Zhang's body suddenly started to exude a gold light, which surprised Chen Shang greatly, because he felt that his disguise was disappearing. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on him, because the multicolored light surrounding his body was very dazzling. Even in this very wide hall, he was still very attractive. Bai Xian was even more surprised. He thought that Chen Shang was about to do something out of bounds, even though he still wasn't too familiar with Chen Shang, but he knew that Chen Shang was an extraordinary person who could use some trouble to see through the contents of the profound Bing. After the golden light surrounding Chen Shang disappeared, everyone in the auction venue sucked in a breath of cold air because Chen Zhang's transformation had been cancelled. Chen Shang, I never thought that it would actually be you, haha, under the Sky Soul mirror, your true form is revealed. The middle-aged man on the stage laughed out loud. You're a dignified dragon subduing school of a dragon subduing school, and yet you don't dare to use your real body to appear. The one who was even more shocked was Bai Xian, because he did not expect that the mysterious person who could see if there was anything inside the profound Bing was actually Chen Shang. The leader of the dragon subduing school had grasped dragon veins, knew how to refine pills, and had done many heaven and earth shocking things. In the new imperial heaven world, it was really difficult to find out, as his portraits were all over the streets. Although he was now a leader of the dragon subduing school and had very powerful strength, there were still powers placing bounties on him, namely the Tong Tian aristocratic family and some of the Sage Realm experts. Although none of these powers had strong experts, their foundations were very thick and there were many spars and such. Although it would be difficult to get a hold of Chen Shang with such a high bounty, it was enough to make Chen Shang not dare to show his face in the new imperial heaven world, especially at a situation like this. Chen Shang, great devil, quote, it was unknown who shouted, but the crowd quickly scattered and left Chen Shang, and it was the same for Bai Xian. Although Chen Shang was very strong, he had made too many enemies, and the middle-aged man on the stage clearly wanted to deal with Chen Shang as well. You guys are from Fire Divine Palace, right? It's not like you have any rules about whether or not you can take part in the profound Bing S. Do you know how long I had to take part in the S? Chen Shang was extremely furious in his heart. His identity had been exposed, because he had only dared to let Bai Xian know that he had the ability to see through the profound Bing before after changing his appearance. If others knew that his dragon subduing school had this kind of heaven-defying ability, then it would be very difficult for him to buy a set of profound Bing in the future. Everyone could feel Chen Zhang's anger, and a monstrous killing intent immediately filled the entire arena. Chen Shang suddenly disappeared, he flew across the space, took out his green dragon demon-slain broadsword, and fiercely slashed at the heaven spirit mirror. He controlled it well, and he hacked it with great precision. He only destroyed the mirror in the middle-aged man's hand, not harming him. Initially, he had wanted to put away the heavenly spirit mirror, but who knew that Chen Zhang's speed was so fast that he arrived right in front of him in an instant, and even made a slash. If Chen Zhang's blade was even more ruthless, he might already be dead on the spot. Impudent, don't think that my Fire Divine Palace is a persimmon that you can pinch as you please. If you think that we are trash like the Tong Tian aristocratic family, then you are completely wrong. Chen Shang was shocked in his heart. He had long since known that there was a very powerful fellow hidden within the Fire Divine Palace, but he didn't expect that there would be an old fellow here. HMPH, it was you who first destroyed my disguise. You were the one who acted presumptuously. Chen Shang shouted angrily. Even though the opponent was very strong, he would definitely not show any weakness in terms of aura. Boy, I do not wish to attack you. Furthermore, you are not qualified for me to attack you. However, that does not mean that I will spare you. The old man was clearly a bit angry as well. His strength was so great, but he was actually being contradicted by a little kid. It's the Immortal King, this old fellow is an Immortal King. Long Shui shouted, she was saying, let Chen Shang quickly escape. Just as Long Shui realized the old man's strength, the entire auction place was enveloped in a powerful seal. This was a barrier created by the Immortal King using a lot of energy, sealing off the surrounding space, so even if Chen Shang used the power of the spatial laws, he would not be able to escape. The moment Chen Shang destroyed the heavenly spirit mirror, the old man could tell that Chen Shang knew some secret methods to travel through space, which was why he immediately sealed it. He could not let Chen Shang escape, because this was the best opportunity to capture Chen Shang. Previously, the old man was still a little worried, because there was a very powerful and mysterious Great Elder by Chen Zhang's side. However, he didn't need to worry about him now, because he was sure that the Great Elder wasn't present. The rest of the people in the auction house were trapped here with Chen Shang, and just when they were complaining incessantly in their hearts, the old man chuckled and said, "Friends, this old man swears on Fire Divine Palace that he won't let you hurt a single hair on your head. If our Fire Divine Palace is able to capture Chen Shang today, then from today onwards we will not decline your request." And right now, everyone can also immediately watch an intense battle, to witness the elegance of Dragon Subduing School. Everyone could feel the powerful aura exuding from the old man. Although the people here were all heavyweights, when faced with an immortal king, they were still nothing more than ants. Chen Shang took a deep breath. Right at that moment, the middle-aged man in front of him suddenly attacked. After receiving the orders from the powerful old man, he immediately took action. When his palm struck towards Chen Shang, a few sharp blade tips suddenly appeared in his palm. If he were to be struck by the palm, his body would definitely be pierced. The middle-aged man thought that Chen Shang would dodge or block, but unexpectedly, Chen Shang did not move an inch, and his body released a strong traction force that firmly sucked the middle-aged man's hand onto his shoulder. When the knife on the middle-aged man's palm stabbed onto Chen Zhang's body, it actually bounced off, as if he was stabbing a piece of Vajra with great force. "With your little strength, you still want to kill me?" Scram! Chen Shang struck out his palm, striking the middle-aged man's face and sending him flying out. He crashed into a pillar at the auction house, and after breaking the pillar, he fell to the ground spitting out blood. Chapter 1168. After Chen Zhang's transformation was broken through by the heavenly spirit mirror, he revealed his true form, causing many of Chen Zhang's plans to be disrupted. "Brother Shen, how are you now?" Bai Xian thought about it for a long time before finally sending a sound transmission to Chen Shang. "I only need to escape. Can you help me?" Chen Shang was currently sealed within a strong barrier, and this barrier was shrinking. As long as it was within a certain range, the people trapped within would be able to leave, and at that time, only Chen Shang would be able to escape. This is very difficult. The old man who laid the spirit formation was an immortal king, and the power of the spirit formation is getting stronger and stronger. There is a very powerful formation here, and as long as that formation is activated, you will not be able to escape. Bai Xian sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang, but when it was transmitted over, the voice became softer, showing just how powerful the barrier was. "It seems that I can only work with you in the future. I will escape as soon as possible. You should leave this place for now. If a great battle breaks out, it might affect you." Chen Shang sighed. The rest of the people in the auction venue weren't in the enchantment anymore, so he immediately left to avoid any misfortunes. "Chen Shang, you have some skills. If I didn't intervene, it would be difficult for anyone in my Fire Divine Palace to kill you. Right now, let's seal you here temporarily. This is also to allow my new Imperial Heaven world to have some peace and quiet." The old man's words made Chen Shang flustered and exasperated. Chen Shang could feel that the enchantment around him had become stronger. He guessed that the Fire Divine Palace used some sort of formation plate or other to reinforce him, making it harder for him to escape. "Seal him for 10 years. If no other powerful forces appear within these 10 years, we will make our move and take down the Chen Martial continent before we rule over the entire new Imperial Heaven world." Chen Shang used up all of his divine power and could only barely break out, so he could hear this sentence. "Did I really get sealed? What is this guy trying to do?" Chen Shang used all of his strength to frantically strike at the invisible barrier, causing rumbling sounds. However, he did not release any of his strength outwards, as all of it exploded inside the barrier. Originally, there were many tables and chairs in this auction venue, but now, all of them had been destroyed by Chen Shang. He was sealed here. Chen Shang was furious when he thought about how he was going to be sealed for 10 years. He took out the green dragon demon slain broadsword and hacked at it randomly, but like before, it was completely useless. He also used some escape techniques, such as the water escape technique and the earth escape technique, but this barrier was too powerful. It was as if this barrier was customized for him, and he was still unable to escape. Use the hammer of God. Long Shui reminded. Chen Shang immediately took out his hammer of God and hammered at the invisible barrier a few times, but to no avail. Following that, Chen Shang used all sorts of powerful techniques, but were unable to break through the barrier. If I have the power of the space laws, I'll definitely be able to travel through space. Chen Shang felt so, because he had used the power of the spatial laws, allowing space to fluctuate slightly. It was just that space had been strengthened and strengthened by the power released by the formation. One must know that when the Fire Divine Palace sealed Chen Shang, he used 2 formation plates, so they naturally had the strength to kill Chen Shang. However, who would have known that Chen Shang was a living treasure trove? Furthermore, Chen Shang was an alchemist, he definitely had a fire soul on him, and it was very powerful. Fire Divine Palace had been staring at his fire soul for a long time, but he couldn't tell what kind of fire soul it was. Palace Lord, are we just going to keep him trapped like this for 10 years? Chen Shang is a treasure all over his body, we should torture him to the point of forcing him to hand over the valuable things on us, a man asked. Whoever goes torture him, you go, or I go, that's just courting death. Although I'm an immortal king, you should know that there are a lot of experts who have died at the hands of this kid, so he must have some way to kill those experts. So, we must be careful. He already saw Chen Shang as someone who could kill him, which was why he decided to first seal him for 10 years. Furthermore, he could not go to at least as long as he could not give Chen Shang the opportunity to do so. In that case, if we just seal him like this, we won't be able to get back the resources used by the formation. The man asked again. Those who could question the Hall Master like this were no ordinary people. First seal him for 10 years. If the Great Clan Elder does not come to save him within these 10 years, that would mean that the Great Clan Elder is not in the Dragon Subduing School. At that time, we would go to the Chen Martial continent and capture his wife and recognized sister as a form of threat. The man smiled and said, as expected of the Hall Master. As expected, the older you are, the wiser you are. The Fire Divine Palace Lord sighed, regarding Chen Shang, we can't not be cautious. The Emperor Dragon guards that the Prince Imperial Dragon had brought along were instantly killed by the Great Elder, then the Great Elder's strength should be above mine. If we were to fight, it would be difficult for me to deal with him. Chen Shang, who was sealed within the villa, still didn't know the Fire Divine Palace Lord's plan right now. However, he did know that the Fire Divine Palace Lord was planning to attack the Chen Martial continent 10 years later. Half of the power in his body had already been used up, but this formation was still unbreakable. No matter how powerful his attack was, it could not move it in the slightest. 10 years is enough time for you to raise your strength by quite a lot. Maybe you'll be able to get out when the time comes. Su Meiyao said. How could Chen Shang not be anxious when such a thing had just happened when the Demon Charming Association had just been lured out? If his heart wasn't that good, he might have already gone mad with anxiety by now, because he could see through the intentions of the old man who sealed him here. One was to see if the White Tiger would appear, and if it didn't, the people from the Fire Divine Palace would go to the Chen Martial continent to capture the person with the best relationship to coerce him. Although he wasn't sure if this would happen, he was very worried. If the White Tiger didn't come, and he continued to be sealed here, it was hard to say. Chen Shang lied on the ground and took deep breaths. He hoped that Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin would not come here, otherwise it would be equivalent to walking into a trap. Fire Divine Palace, remember this, father. After I leave, the first thing I'll do is shovel Fire Divine Palace out. Chen Zhang's anger soared to the skies as killing intent surged from his body. Chen Shang was sealed here, and even spirit energy could not enter, so the people of Fire Divine Palace were not worried that Chen Shang would raise his strength here. In order to ensure the stability of the array, they did not set up any surveillance array, and felt that it would be relatively easy to trap Chen Shang for 10 years. Chen Shang had stored a large amount of things that could help him increase his own strength, and in this aspect, those old fellows from the Fire Divine Palace who did not even consider anything to do with this item. This was also the only thing Chen Shang could rely on to leave this place. Let's refine a super Qi Shen Dan first, Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang had also planned to do this. If he were a super Qi Shen Dan, consuming a few pills in a row would allow his cultivation to increase a lot. In the end, he would still be able to break through a bottleneck with the help of a philosophic stone. In the later stages of the Nirvana realm, one could not rely on elixirs to break through. One still had to comprehend the martial way, or else it would not be possible to draw in Nirvana Doom. If you can attract Nirvana Doom, perhaps you can use Nirvana Doom to break this barrier. However, this barrier came from the heaven realm and you are worried that the Nirvana Doom will form inside, so you can only rely on your own strength to break this seal. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang could only give it a try, there was no other way. The Qi Shendan was very easy to refine, so Chen Shang had a large amount of creation divine liquid in his reserve. A Qi Shendan made from 5,000 sets of medicinal ingredients, the results should be pretty good, right? Chen Shang planned to first use 1 month's time to condense a large number of creation divine liquid, then duplicate 5,000 sets of Qi Shendan's medicine, and finally use the 10,000 refinements technique to quickly refine the Qi Shendan. I can leave very soon. Bastards of the Fire Divine Palace, just wait to be squeezed to death by me one by one. You actually schemed against me like this. Chen Shang calmed his heart down, then slightly closed his eyes and began to circulate the Dragon Cohesion Kung Fu, condensing those mystical creation divine liquid. Chapter 1169. In the blink of an eye, Chen Shang was trapped for over a month. When he was at the auction house, many people were there, so it was difficult to hide the matter, and Fire Divine Palace did not plan to hide it from the beginning. Furthermore, he even spread the news of Chen Shang being captured. The reason why Chen Shang was captured was because he was causing trouble at the Profound Being's Association. However, Chen Shang did not have any soldiers, this was all made up by the Fire Divine Palace. If Chen Shang knew about this, he would be even angrier. Many of Chen Zhang's acquaintances knew that he had been captured, but most of them were very calm and did not plan to save him. This was because in a place where even Chen Shang was trapped, they were also unable to rescue him. Even Chen Shang had been trapped there, so if they were to go, they would definitely be caught. Although they were a little anxious in their hearts, if they were to go, it might even cause trouble for Chen Shang. Chen Shang did not wish for others to come and save him. Of course, if it was the White Tiger, he would be very happy to see it. It's finally enough for 5,000 sets of Qi Shendan's. Chen Shang had been busy for more than a month. If the Fire Divine Palace had this kind of crazy ability, he would definitely vomit blood, because this was simply too dangerous. Trapping Chen Shang was equivalent to allowing him to cultivate and raise his strength in peace. Chen Shang hated the feeling of being sealed up by someone, so in order to quickly leave this place, he would definitely increase his strength and allow himself to leave this damned place as soon as possible. To prevent others from spying on him, Chen Shang took out some materials from the ring and built a house in the hall. Then, he set up a variety of formations in the house to prevent others from spying on his body. Dawin refining method could refine many batches of pills at the same time, especially those that Chen Shang had mastered them extremely well. If others saw this, they would be in great danger, because the White Tiger had warned him not to reveal anything regarding the heavenly alchemy. The heavenly alchemy was something that was even scarier than the heaven-earth killing method, so he was extremely cautious in this regard. This place should be enough for 15 batches of ingredients. This was what Chen Shang had planned to do when he wanted to refine 5,000 sets of Super Qi Shendan's. He would first use the Dawin refining method to burn the medicinal ingredients to a certain degree at the same time, and then transfer the mostly burnt medicine auras and medicinal powders into the Yanlong furnace for fusion. In this way, he would be able to increase his speed. If it was in a place where the spiritual energy outside was dense, he could absorb a large amount of it into his body and release a very strong flame. It could instantly melt the Qi Shendan's medicine because he could establish a connection with the Qi Shendan's medicine and incinerate it from the inside. Chen Shang placed the Yanlong furnace in the middle, let out a low growl, and activated Dawin refining method, condensing 15 translucent pale golden pill furnaces and surrounding the Yanlong furnace in the middle. Fire Divine Palace, it would be best if you all don't trap me for 10 years. If you really do trap me for 10 years, it would be hard to say just how far my strength will reach. Chen Shang thought. A Super Qi Shendan with 5,000 sets of medicinal ingredients was considerably strong, equivalent to a heaven-level pill. This was something that only Chen Shang could refine with such a strong foundation. This was all to leave this place and punish Fire Divine Palace. The 15 batches of Qi Shendan began to refine. The flames within the pill furnace burned the medicinal ingredients and the red light within flickered, illuminating the entire room. The strong light even emitted a slight warmth, causing one to feel extremely comfortable. Very quickly, the medicinal ingredients in the 15-pill furnaces had reached the stage where they could be refined. Chen Shang immediately placed the refined medicine aura and medicinal powders inside, then started to refine another 15 batches. At the same time, he also had to control the fusion of the medicine aura and medicinal powders inside the Yanlong furnace. He would have to repeat this many times, and the more last, the more pressure he would feel, because at that time, the Yanlong furnace would already have absorbed a large amount of medicinal ingredients. Senior sister, brother, he's been captured by the Fire Divine Palace, I really want to save him. After Lang Yulin was caught, she shouted to Shui Shenxian every day. She knew that her strength was limited, and saving Chen Shang was like a moth to a flame, but she was very anxious, so she could only do this to ease her emotions. Shui Shenxian was the same, but she was very clear on the reason behind Fire Divine Palace's actions. Fire Divine Palace did not kill Chen Shang, but instead trapped him, and from this, it could be seen that they had other plans. She did not believe that Fire Divine Palace had the ability to trap Chen Shang, but they could not kill Chen Shang on the way. I think that the Fire Divine Palace will definitely trap him for a very long time. I want to see if there are any powerful people who can save him. Shui Shenxian's face sank. Maybe it's against Dragon Subduing City, or maybe it's against Chen Martial Continent, and those of us who are closest to him. Quote. Lang Yulin shouted angrily. These bastards, they must come when the time comes, let's see how this old lady will kill them. Shui Shenxian nodded his head. So we don't need to trouble your brother, we only need to increase our strength, and don't let him get away with it. Your brother has too many good things on him, and furthermore, he can endure the torture. Now that the Demon Charming Association has retreated, and with so many people watching us at the place where the Chen Martial Continent is, the only powerful dragon subduing school has been captured. In the following days, we should guard the Chen Martial Continent well and not let anyone else occupy it. Lang Yulin nodded her head heavily. She wanted someone to come to the Chen Martial Continent to cause trouble. When that happened, she would be able to use her skills to eliminate those bastards. Due to the fact that Chen Shang was captured by the Fire Divine Palace, the various powerhouses of the Chen Martial Continent started to get nervous once again. Earlier, when the Demon Charming Association had hidden himself to retreat, they were already prepared to go to war with him at any time, and now that Chen Shang was captured, it meant that the Chen Martial Continent had lost the last of the powerful forces to protect them. Inside Dragon Subduing City, Li Baojun and the rest were also discussing. If there really is a day that we have to go to the Chen Martial Continent to assist them, many people would think that it would be easy to take down the Dragon Subduing City without Chen Shang here. Actually they are wrong, the Dragon Subduing City's powerful defense is not something they can imagine. Li Baojun said. Duan Sanchang nodded his head. We must pry more news about them during this period of time, and we must also use this time to increase our strength. Those fellows won't take any action in the near future. It might take a few years until they are sure that the great clan elder won't go save the leader, then they will take action. Earlier, the outside world had heard that although the great clan elder of the Dragon Subduing School was incomparably powerful, his movements were secretive, and even Chen Shang was unable to find him for a short period of time. If they did not save Chen Shang for a long period of time, the great powers who coveted for the Chen Martial Continent would dare to take action. Send someone to the Devil Subduing College to notify him. The principal there is on good terms with the leader and he can look after him when the time comes. Li Baojun said. Then what about leader? I don't want to save him anymore. Lan Lan asked. If the great clan elder does not appear, then only he will be able to save himself. Regarding his ability, we do not need to doubt it, we just need to protect this place well, and at that time, we can just support the Chen Martial Continent. Su Yun said. Li Baojun said. Yan Yanran said. Then I will focus on spying on the Fire Divine Palace and create some rumors, letting those powers that want to curry favor with the Fire Divine Palace know about some of Fire Divine Palace's dirty secrets, and then discredit the Fire Divine Palace. Everyone divided their work. Although their strengths weren't very strong, their movements were extremely strong. With Duan Sanchang, the god of escape, here, they had learned a lot of abilities to escape. Inside the White Tiger Profound Realm, the White Tiger had already found out about the news, and it was from the patriarch of the White Tiger fighting race, Bai Zan. Prophet, are we not going to save him? Bai Zan asked. Instead of saving him, it's a good thing. I believe his friends are aware of this, so I won't allow any too strong people to cause trouble in the Chen Martial Continent. This is new imperial heaven world, it's the heaven and earth of the new generation. The White Tiger said. Chapter 1170. Chen Shang was sealed in a villa in the profound ice city and was currently focusing on refining pills. From the very beginning, he did not wish for anyone to save him, unless it was a white tiger or a strong one. When 5,000 sets of Qi Shendan's medicinal pellets were combined together, the quality could be imagined. If so many of them were condensed into a pellet, the quality would be extremely terrifying. The Qi Shendan in Chen Zhang's hand was very heavy. Even though it was only as big as a thumb, holding it in his hand was as heavy as holding a hammer of God. This pill took him 2 months to concoct. He looked at the pill in his hand that was emitting a strong green light, thinking to swallow such a pill into his own stomach. He felt a little afraid that he would not be able to control the violent and surging medicine aura. At this stage, just relying on pills was not enough to break through, he still needed to comprehend it, otherwise he would not be able to refine and absorb the energy inside. Only when he comprehended the true meaning of martial Tao, would he be able to quickly absorb the energy and use it to expand his own dantian, strengthening his own body. This was extremely important. If Chen Shang did not have a philosophic stone, he would not have dared to eat this kind of Qi Shendan that contained a boundless energy. If he was unable to comprehend something, the inside of his body would be filled with a strong power that would not leak out, and that would only cause him to be injured and go berserk. Comprehension referred to guiding one's strength to develop the hidden strength within one's body, while strengthening the body and the soul. As for how the process was, everyone was different, so at this point in time, one could only rely on themselves. Some people could suddenly understand how to use their own strength to strengthen themselves, but at this time, they lacked the resources to cultivate. Some people had their own resources, but it was difficult for them to comprehend them, so they became stagnant and finally died of old age. After eating that super Qi Shendan, Chen Shang circulated his divine arts and quickly refined it, refining it into innate Qi and God power. Then, it condensed into a heaven pellet in his dantian. Not long after, Chen Zhang's forehead started to perspire, with a serious expression on his face. It was obvious that he had encountered difficulties in his cultivation. Although the divine power could crazily rush into the divine sense C, it was unable to open up the divine sense C, nor could it strengthen the divine soul. The innate Qi could also enter the dantian smoothly, but it could not enter the 5 beast statues and could not nurture the heavenly pellets. Obviously, he had encountered bottlenecks that would often occur after he reached the nirvana stage. He tried using the method he had previously used to cultivate, and poured all of the vigorous energy into his dantian and divine sense C. However, these energies were clearly outside his control, and after entering the dantian and divine sense C, he was not allowed to freely command them. Chen Shang anxiously took out the philosophic stone and used his mind consciousness to enter the philosophic stone. Suddenly, many mysterious spirit grains appeared in his mind, making him feel as if he had fallen into a sea made of spirit grain. Unknowingly, he realized that the spirit grain inside the philosophic stone seemed to have intelligence, and had slowly turned into a person. If one looked carefully, the human figures formed by the countless spirit grain looked like the innumerable meridians in the human body. What's going on? Chen Shang only felt the spirit grain's figure floating towards him, and in the blink of an eye, it pounced on him. The power in his divine sense C and dantian that seemed to have been cut off, surged out like a flood that had broken through the dam. Chen Shang had entered into a very wonderful state, and he couldn't tell what it was like either. He only felt that the 5 beast statue in his dantian were all filled with dense energy, and the divine sense C was also expanding bit by bit under the impact of the divine power. He knew that the philosophic stone could help him relax a little, but he never thought that it would actually help him get through this crisis so quickly. No wonder the philosophic stone were so precious. Previously, he had only been able to refine those profound being by using them. This philosophic stone is really something. Chen Shang sighed in admiration in his heart, then concentrated on cultivating. As long as one could condense a core embryo within each beast statue, the nirvana doom would arrive. However, Chen Shang was not sure if his nirvana doom could penetrate such a powerful barrier. If not, then he would not be able to pass through nirvana doom. After 3 months, he finally finished digesting the entire Super Qi Shendan, but the 7th heaven pill's embryo was extremely dim. A single Qi Shendan like that can only have this kind of effect. Although Chen Shang was already prepared in his heart, he didn't expect that the Qi Shendan that he had created in 3 months would have so little effect. The next 3 tribulations of the nirvana doom are the hardest and the hardest to break through. You should be satisfied with how you were able to achieve such a result in a short half a year. Su Meiyao said. Ah, so you're saying that I haven't made much progress in 10 years. Chen Shang felt that he had to speed up his concocting process. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to leave even 10 years later. That may not be so. If you are able to break through the 7 nirvana tribulations, you might have a great chance. Bai Yuyu said, those who pass through the 7th tribulation, after going through the baptism of the 7 nirvana tribulations, will normally possess a body with strength called devastating golden body, which is based on the strength of your original body. Even if my physical body is powerful, I might not be able to escape this place. Furthermore, I am sealed here. It is hard to say whether or not I will be able to escape the nirvana tribulation. Chen Shang sighed. Long Shui yawned and said, little scoundrel, don't think that you're the only one who's trapped here. This Dragon Emperor isn't good, so if your physical body is strong enough, then my power can completely fuse with yours. I don't want to strike you down. Honestly speaking, even though you are a genius, you are still a human after all. No matter how fast your cultivation is, you can't be faster than me. Tisk tisk, you can't even catch up to me when you flatter me. Chen Shang had not considered Long Shui's power before, and he had indeed admitted that Long Shui was much stronger than him. He had borrowed Long Shui's power many times in the past, so he had a deep understanding of this. Regardless of whether or not I can get out, the most important thing for me right now is to constantly strengthen myself. Chen Shang clenched his fist and said. Of course, I feel that your Dawen refining method can be increased to 30, 40, or even 50 batches per batch. This will save you a lot of time. Su Meiyao said. Refining such a big pill required time. Even though Chen Zhang's refining skills were superb, he would first need a large number of ingredients, and then a large number of creation divine liquid would be required to duplicate a large number of ingredients. During the process of refining, he would need to smelt them one by one, and then fuse them all together. Otherwise, with his previous speed, he would need more than 3 months to successfully refine one pellet, and the effect would not be very good. Hence, he planned to refine 10,000 sets of Super Qi Shendan S, and the effect would be much greater, as the energy contained in 10,000 sets of herbs would be condensed together. One could imagine how high the quality would be. Chen Shang could use it multiple times to multitask, and as he was condensing creation divine liquid S at the same time as comprehending the heaven-earth killing method, he had only touched on a little of these killing techniques, so he was not too familiar with them. However, they gave him a very strong power, so as long as he had time, he would definitely try to comprehend the 3 heaven-earth killing method S that he had obtained. Time flew by. In a blink of an eye, 3 years had already passed, and the room that Chen Shang built here had grown a lot. In order to be able to contain more pill furnaces, he could now control 80 pill furnaces. Chen Shang had already eaten a few supreme Qi Shendan with the grade of 10,000 medicinal ingredients, but he was still a ways away from breaking through. However, what made him happy was that in the past 3 years, he had been using philosophic stone non-stop, and this not only allowed him to cultivate, it also allowed him to comprehend some methods of using the spatial laws. In terms of spatial laws, there were probably not many people that had this kind of power, thus no one could guide Chen Shang. He could only rely on himself to comprehend, otherwise, he would only waste this kind of divine object. Chapter 1171. Chen Shang had been trapped for almost 4 years, yet no one came to save him. This was completely out of Fire Divine Palace's expectations. This was also where the Fire Divine Palace miscalculated, because they did not understand Chen Shang. As long as one had an extremely good relationship with Chen Shang, they knew that if Chen Shang was unable to escape, they would only drag Chen Shang down even more and become hostages if they went to rescue him. Furthermore, he said that Chen Shang was sealed inside, and could not absorb any spirit energy. As long as it took a long time, the resources carried with it would all be used up, and Chen Zhang's strength would be depleted to the point that he would have to publicly punish Chen Shang. Of course, these words were said to scare those who had an extremely good relationship with Chen Shang just so that these people could come and save Chen Shang. But what Fire Divine Palace did not know was that Chen Zhang's friends all knew very well that this big spender pills could not die from exhaustion. Chen Shang had been sealed by the Fire Divine Palace for almost 4 years, and that mysterious and powerful great clan elder had not appeared to save Chen Shang yet. Therefore, at this moment, many powers believed that Chen Shang would probably be sealed for a long period of time. The Chen Martial continent was no longer a continent now because all the seas had disappeared, but this was how everyone in the new imperial heaven world called the land. Furthermore, this piece of land was also seen as the future divine land of DTN, and there were rumors saying that there was a high possibility that a second dragon vein would be born in the Chen Martial continent in the future. Chen Shang knew that the Chen Martial continent was not a simple place since long ago, otherwise these four symbols divine weapons would not have appeared in such a place. What was even more mysterious was that the mortal world where he was born in had suddenly disappeared, and it had not appeared even now. At first, Huang Jintian, Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu had all told him that they would return to that place. They clearly knew why the mortal world had disappeared, but they had never told him about it. Some people were preparing to attack Chen Martial continent, and the news quickly spread. Some people intentionally leaked the news, to see how strong the Chen Martial continent was. As for when the attack would be, there was no precise time. As long as it was not an abnormal immortal realm ranker like the immortal monarch, the pressure would not be too great on Chen Martial continent, but the Chen Martial continent had never had this kind of mentality. They imagined the intruder to be a very powerful person, and even planned out a few countermeasures. The leaders of the Chen Martial continent did not need help from outsiders. Their originally powerful allies, Dragon Subduing School and Demon Charming Association, had declined rapidly due to the accident with their leader. He could not imagine that outside the villa that the profound Bing S had gathered 4 years ago, there was an old man looking at the huge building inside that had sealed Chen Shang. This old man wore a conical hat and simple clothes. His eyes were listless. He looked extremely tired, as if he had been toiling for years. The situation isn't too bad, at least the old man inside the Fire Divine Palace still doesn't dare to make a move. Could it be that he is also afraid of Chen Shang, this brat's assassination? The old man thought to himself as he shook his head and smiled. Suddenly, the old man's brows furrowed. He suddenly gathered a strong burst of spirit force and shot it towards the huge building that sealed Chen Shang. Chen Shang, how are you inside? Quote, Chen Shang was in the middle of refining pills, when he suddenly heard this weak voice. You are. Chen Shang was startled, and almost shouted out. Elder Duan, it's great that you're still alive. Chen Shang said excitedly. The person he was talking to was precisely the Duan Chong who fell into the chaotic space when he was teleported from the Heaven Thunder Purgatory. He was the patriarch of the Duan clan, Duan Sanchang's grandfather, and was also an extraordinary person. It was only after Duan Chong used his very strong divine sense that he could barely talk to Chen Shang. You're so energetic, you should be living a happy life inside. It's not bad. Old man Duan, try your best to help me tell my friends, don't ever come to save me, and secretly tell them that the Fire Divine Palace will make their move 10 years from now. They want to rule over the entire DTN at that time. Duan Chong's head hurt. He anxiously retracted his consciousness, because he had been attacked by the array formation. Furthermore, the voice that came from Chen Shang was very weak, but he could hear it clearly. To be able to find the way back from the chaotic space, Duan Chong's strength must have increased, but with his current strength, he was unable to save Chen Shang, so he could only give up and head to Dragon Subduing City. Elder Duan is still alive. Chen Shang was very happy. Back then in the Heaven Thunder Purgatory, Duan Chong had helped him very much, but the reason he was able to obtain the God Slain method was also because of Duan Chong. He believed that Duan Chong would definitely be able to go to the Dragon Subduing School. At that time, with such a strong expert there, he would definitely be able to be at ease. Duan Chong might even be able to call over the entire Duan clan, although the Duan clan was limited in number, but if they were to actually play, many ancient powers would fear them. The Duan clan was one of the few forces that had followed the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, and surviving until now was not easy either. There's still 6 more years, hurry up and cultivate. Although the Qi Shendan is not bad, I feel that even if you refine 20,000 sets of Super Qi Shendan, you still won't be able to break through at that time. Su Meiyao said softly, little scoundrel, you should know that your elder sister Munger has been trapped in this stage for a very long time. Chen Shang nodded. He could already feel how difficult it was to step into the 7 Nirvana tribulations, and he felt that his Nirvana doom would become even more terrifying when the time came. Sister Meiyao, what should I do now? Chen Shang was at his wit's end. Although he had many high-leveled medicine ingredients, such as the holy-level dragon medicine, they were all medicine that he could not handle, and would torment him to death if he ate them. As for the heaven-level medicine, he would also need to refine them into a pill in order to release its effects. Although the effects were there, they were not obvious. Right now, it was not possible for him to learn how to refine heaven-level pills, unless he could master the multiple foreseeing alchemy well. Even if he did learn how to refine them, it would take a long time, so it was not suitable for his current environment. Su Meiyao thought for a moment, then said, Profounding, don't you have a lot of them? Last time, you only used a little of their powder to refine them, and almost destroyed a city, and those Profounding were all of poor quality. You now have so many high-quality Profounding, if you can successfully extract that miraculous power from them, then it might be even more effective than those Super Qi Shen Dan. It wasn't that Chen Shang hadn't thought of it before, but he was worried that he would waste too much time on it. Little scoundrel, don't you still have 2 treasure chests? You should start researching those Profounding not only to raise your cultivation through them, you should also replenish the energy in the Ice Dragon sword sheath and let you open those 2 treasure chests. Maybe there are things inside that treasure chests that can help you escape. Su Meiyao knew what Chen Shang was worried about, because he was extremely tight on time and could not let it go to waste. If the 2 methods I mentioned before do not work, then there is only one way, and that is for you to fuse with all of the Chaos Fire token. I believe that at that time, you will not only possess the power to summon the 9 Heaven Devil Palace but also increase your own strength. The Chaos Fire token was Chen Zhang's private box, and was also the only way Chen Shang planned to use this to kill the Immortal King after going out. Therefore, he had never thought of fusing all of them together here, and it was very risky. Chen Shang thought for a while, then said, No, there is a way out, but it might not work. I need a way that I have a lot of confidence that I can make it through. You have no other choice. You should understand that if you want to break through within 6 years and successfully cross the 7 Nirvana tribulations, this is a better solution. Su Meiyao said. At that time, Su Meiyao could also clearly feel it, so she was very confident in being able to sense it. However, the premise was that Chen Shang could still perfectly control the broken Profounding and help Chen Shang in breaking through the bottleneck. Chapter 1172. Chen Shang possessed a large number of high-quality Profounding. If he could refine a majority of them successfully, he would be able to unleash a very strong power. Previously, when he went through the Philosophic Stone, he could feel that the Profounding contained extremely strong destructive power. If he could refine a large number of Profounding into a pill and use it to attack, the destructive power would probably be able to make him leave this place. However, he was still inside. When the time came, he would have nowhere to hide from the explosive force, so this method would not work. He could only extract the purest power from the Profounding and refine them into edible pellets to increase his strength. Those people won't monitor you every day. They are very confident in this seal, so you don't need to worry about them spying on you. Long Shui said. She was also monitoring the place closely. If there were any other undulations, she could immediately feel them. If anyone else wanted to inspect the situation inside, they would have to send their consciousness inside. At that time, they would have to make the seal become weaker, and if they did that, they would be worried that Chen Shang would use this chance to escape, so they had never monitored Chen Shang. Chen Shang took out the gold dragon ice's ice crystal powder. That gold dragon ice was not small, and had turned into a lot of powder. Moreover, the quality was very high. If it was refined into a pellet, it would be many times stronger than the one he refined in Heaven Thunder City last time. Right now, Chen Shang did not dare to crazily refine too many Profounding. If he could not control himself, he might fall into it. Don't move the gold dragon ice first, put it aside for later. Chen Shang did not use high-quality Profounding powder to refine pills from the beginning, but instead used normal Profounding first. He got some from the Sky Demon Pavilion, and now he put the Profounding powder inside the Yanlong furnace, and then took out the Philosophic Stone powder. This way, he could use his own flames to burn the Profounding powder, turning the powder into mist, and then merge it together. It was all because of the resonance between the Profounding and itself. As for why, Chen Shang could not explain it. In short, the Philosophic Stone was extremely magical, and previously, it was also because of this Philosophic Stone that he was able to cultivate smoothly. When he injected the Heaven Fire, it was very easy to incinerate the Profounding powder into a cloud of mist that emitted a strong light. However, the mist was very berserk. Inside the Yanlong furnace, it was like a demon in purgatory struggling, wanting to escape at any time. A faint golden light shot out from between Chen Zhang's eyebrows. A large amount of god power poured into the Yanlong furnace, forming 2 golden palms. In the blazing pill furnace, they started to rub the berserk Profounding Qi, not letting it scatter around inside the furnace. At this time, the flames inside the Yanlong furnace were extremely strong. It was about the strongest flame that Chen Shang could release, but after the profound being turned into mist, the temperature of the flames became very low. If Chen Shang suddenly retracted the flames, the entire Yanlong furnace might even be frozen. As long as a large chunk of profound being was stimulated, it would turn into ice crystals that resembled grains of sand. However, after these ice crystals were stimulated by a large amount of strength, they were able to emit the special icy cold power inside them. There should be two types of power within the profound being. If I'm not wrong, one of them should be the grain force, and the other should be the powerful and pure energy. At this time, Long Shui was also using her consciousness to observe the situation inside the Yanlong furnace. Even though it was filled with ice-cold energy, she did not discover too much of it. What? There's grain force inside? Chen Shang asked in surprise. The grain force was also known as the power of nature. According to what Long Shui had said, the grain force inside should be a type of spirit grain that was innately born with the ability to change the nature of energy. That's why this power is a little strange. It's not a natural power, but a pure power. But it's more powerful, Long Shui said. Back then, when he was crossing that powerful nirvana doom in the heaven thunder purgatory, a grain force had appeared, but Chen Shang had devoured many of them and compressed them into his dantian. He had never had the chance to use them, and those grain force were also extremely precious, so he could not use them carelessly. If these profound being really did have grain force S, then they could extract them and obtain a lot of grain force S. These grain force S were priceless treasures, and even if placed in the heaven realm, they would be extremely expensive. You must use your strongest divine power to look inside those profound being granules. I think that the reason why they become granules when they shatter is very likely because every single granule has a natural icy spirit grain formed from grain force. It's only very small, and it's only in a small pellet of profound being. Although Long Shui was lazy to eat, she inherited the white dragon's memories. The large amount of memories she inherited came from her white dragon ancestors, so even without learning, she could still learn a lot of things. This was also the reason why a dragon with a memory inheritance was so powerful. Chen Shang did as Long Shui said, carefully observing those very, very small profound being granules. He did this kind of thing quite often, but with his current abilities, there shouldn't be any difficulty in doing it. Previously, he had used this method to see the inner world of the Qi Shen Dan's medicine, and even established a connection with the spirit inside, allowing him to feel at ease while refining the Qi Shen Dan. These spirit grain were all trembling, and would release a certain amount of cold energy every time they trembled. On top of these spirit grain, Chen Shang could also see a light purple gas mist curling around them. This purple gas mist was none other than the grain force. At this time, Chen Shang was secretly impressed with Long Shui. He actually got hit with her words. If not for Long Shui, he might not have understood why these profound beings were like this. In fact, Long Shui also only came to this conclusion after he had thoroughly investigated her. Not only can these spirit grain release the power of frost, they can also assimilate anything that doesn't have frost power in their surroundings as long as it takes time to do so. Long Shui said, try and see if you can separate those grain forces. With so many profound being powder, if he had to do all of them, it would be very taxing on his brain. Fortunately, Chen Zhang's spirit cultivating had a strong divine soul and profound strength, which might be difficult for others to accomplish, but in Chen Zhang's eyes, it was not too difficult, it was just that it required a lot of time. Philosophic Stone comprehended the power of nature and comprehended 3,000 great Taoes. Grain force was also a natural power, so when he used Philosophic Stone, he could resonate with the profound being powder. When the profound being's powder was being burned by the flames, the grain force released the most intense vibrations and the cold chi was being released by the spirit grain, so the current icy cold power was extremely strong, but it was also beneficial for Chen Shang to separate the grain force. The grain force was the source of the spirit grain that supported it to convert pure energy into ice energy. As long as the grain force was extracted, Chen Shang would be able to obtain a large amount of pure energy. If the grain force was not separated and fused together, it would be a terrifying destructive ice seal dam that could be used to attack. It was much easier to figure out what was going to happen next. These profound being contained a lot of pure energy. If he could extract and refine them into profound being pellets, it would be much more efficient than refining super Qi Shen Dan. To refine a Qi Shen Dan, it would also require a large amount of medicinal ingredients. It was a very time-consuming process. At this time, Chen Shang added some high-quality profound Bing powder on top of the Yanlong furnace. He realized that amongst these high-quality profound Bing powder, the grain force was a little more, and the spirit grain was also a little longer. The contained pure energy was many times more than normal profound Bing, which made Chen Shang very happy. Since it was only extracting high-quality and low-quality profound Bings had the same workload, so he stopped refining those low-quality profound Bing powders and changed them all to refining high-quality ones. As for low-quality profound Bing powder, it was used to refine destructive ice seal Dan with strong attacks in the future. Chapter 1173. A few years ago, the Divine Weapons Heavenly Country was once harassed by the Devil race. And at that time, it was the two from the Devil race that brought the members of the Gold-Armored Sword sect and the Ghost-Killing School over, but they were all killed, and now that Chen Shang had been sealed, the Demon Charming Association retreated, and the Divine Weapons Heavenly Country did not have any protection, but had many mines, which caused the Divine Weapons Heavenly Country to be targeted once again. The Divine Weapons Heavenly Country and the Icy Wind Valley were together, and the person in charge was two women, one was Chen Zhang's wife and the other was Chen Shang. In the eyes of some people, no matter how strong or how talented these two women were, they were still women, and they were all very weak and would not be that strong. It was precisely because someone thought so that they would risk their lives to seize all the mines in Divine Weapons Heavenly Country. As a result, the people who came to occupy the mines all thought that the other party had been scared off, and then called over a lot of elites to guard, and even mined a lot of resources. But just as they were feeling extremely proud, the Divine Weapons Heavenly Country's people arrived, and the people who came were all powerful experts, and one of them was the legendary white-haired beauty. Leng Yulin was truly beautiful, able to topple cities and overthrow nations. However, when he killed people, he was like someone from hell, incomparably savage. That kind of berserk attack caused people's hair to stand on end. As long as it was a power that had seized any mines in the Divine Weapons Heavenly Country before, they would be settled eventually. Most of their sects would be exterminated, and the Gold-Armored Sword sect was one of them. Not only that, the Super Martial School experienced this kind of thing too, and after that, the Super Martial School also used the same method of action as the Divine Weapons Heavenly Country, which was to completely eliminate all of those powers. It was only then that many outside powers realized that the big sects above Chen Martial Continent had joined forces. As long as one side was bullied, they would not fight when they could not win, and would immediately run away, requesting for reinforcements from the other big sects. After quietly gathering all the strong warriors, they would go back and kill everyone. This way, many great powers were exterminated by the great powers of the Chen Martial Continent on fair and square grounds, and they were even robbed clean. Their movements were all very secretive, and no one would be able to see through them. As a result, those powers that attacked Chen Martial Continent, it was equivalent to facing off against multiple powerful forces, and not getting wiped out. With these previous examples, all the powers that wanted to attack Chen Martial Continent knew that if they wanted to take down Chen Martial Continent, they couldn't do so by themselves, because that would be like facing a huge monster, unless they joined hands. However, there were people secretly scheming, causing some of the powers to be at odds with each other, unable to join hands. There were even many forces that had started fighting, and this kind of good thing was obviously done by the Duan clan. Ever since Chen Shang was sealed, the new Imperial Heaven world became extremely restless. Originally, the demons had been attacking the human realm, but many powers in the human realm were staring at the Chen Martial Continent, thus allowing the demons to take advantage of the opportunity and gradually expand the territory of the demon realm and the demon realm. Chen Shang also guessed that it would be very chaotic outside, so he wanted to leave even more. He had already planned to stabilize his foundation with DTN in order to be able to safely ascend to Heaven Realm. If he wanted to make this place stable, he would have to first increase the strength of his dragon subduing school in the Chen Martial Continent, then he would have to kill off the demons inside the demon and devil realms. In 10 days, Chen Shang would separate the grain force from the gold dragon ice's powder, and the separated grain force would enter his dantian. There was originally a grain force orb in his dantian, although he did not need it now. When he wants to set up a powerful array in the future, these grain force would shine brilliantly. Gold dragon ice were top-grade profound Bing. After the pure energy within was separated out, it was actually equivalent to a Qi Shendan refined from 5,000 sets of medicinal herbs. To have such an effect made Chen Shang very satisfied, because he had quite a few of these profound Bing. He had not used a single one of the profound Bing he got from the Fire Divine Palace's warehouse. Fire Divine Palace, since you have already taken action against me, and even want to use my closest kin to threaten me, don't blame me. Chen Shang was furious at the thought of this. He hated it when people threatened him the most, especially when people threatened his woman. The Fire Divine Palace had yet to do so, but he had already made this decision. It was just that the time was not here yet, and the Immortal King in charge of the Fire Divine Palace was extremely patient. He had to wait 10 years before he could confirm that no one really came to save Chen Shang. If no one came to his rescue during these past 10 years and the seal did not have any movement, then it was time for him to make his move. Chen Shang knew that the most important thing the Fire Divine Palace was doing was reviving that Ice Emperor, and Chen Shang found out from LV Qinlian that the Ice Emperor was not a good person, so he decided that if there were no other urgent matters, he would immediately head to the profound cold ancient realm to destroy that Ice Emperor, or else he would not be able to resolve the hatred in his heart. The profound Bing pellet was pure white, and although the name Chen Zhang's qi was profound Bing pellet, it did not contain a very strong freezing energy, only a weak cold qi. The profound Bing core in Chen Zhang's palm was refined from that large piece of gold dragon ice powder, and this was equivalent to the sum of the 5,000 sets of Qi Shen Dan medicinal ingredients used to refine it. After eating the profound Bing pills here, Chen Shang began to refine them. What made him happy was that for some reason, the profound Bing pills were refined very easily, and entered his dantian very naturally, entering the 5 beast statues to condense the core embryos. Oh right, this pure energy has been influenced by the grain force, and the grain force is also known as the power of nature. Over time, the energy in the profound Bing also became like this, possessing the spirituality of nature, thus I am able to cultivate so easily. Chen Shang was very excited. He never thought that refining profound Bing would produce such a great harvest. At the moment he was full of confidence. If nothing unexpected happened, and he successfully passed through the heavenly tribulation, he felt that he could definitely get rid of this seal within 10 years. Year after year, Chen Shang had been sealed for 8 years. In his eyes, he only felt that it was like he had stayed here for a few months, and that it had been 8 years without him realizing it. Furthermore, when he was refining pills, he would always fall into a crazy state, and wouldn't feel bored, and would always be in high spirits. In this period of time, he had already refined more than 800 profound Bing. One must know that many of these profound Bing were giant high-quality profound Bing-s, and even though they all looked like exquisite ice sculptures, he did not pity them at all. At this time, he had already gathered a few more grain forces. Over the past few years, he had gathered enough grain forces to set up a huge defensive formation. There are still 2 years left. It would be best for you to leave earlier. Otherwise, when the time comes, something unexpected might happen. Long Shui warned. Although Duan Chong had returned, his strength was limited and his Chen martial continent was not small. If he was attacked by a few other strong forces that were similar to his own, then his Chen martial continent would definitely fall. If Chen Shang left, as long as there was someone who could force the Fire Divine Palace's Immortal King to leave, he would have a way to weaken the Fire Divine Palace's power and even eliminate him. This was because the Fire Divine Palace was already angry at him, and he wished that he could let out all of the magical corruption gas and drunk god powder at once. Of course, that was only a thought that came out of his anger, and that was undesirable. If it was discovered, his good days would come to an end, and he might even implicate many people. The core embryo of the Heaven Pill is almost complete. Eating these 10 high-quality profound Bing pills should be able to help me form the 7th core embryo in one go. All these years, it was only because the philosophic stone gave him guidance at the most critical time, allowing him to break through bottlenecks time and time again. What he was most worried about was whether the Nirvana tribulation would arrive. If it did, what would happen? That was because he was currently in a very strong seal. Chapter 1174. In these few years, the Chen martial continent had been attacked a lot of times. Some were from the demon side, some were from the human realm, and some were allied together, but at most, they could only temporarily occupy a few minds and could not completely control them. In these 2 years in the new Imperial Heaven world, there were not many forces that could swallow the entire Chen martial continent in one go, and the Fire Divine Palace was one of them. They were worried that the mysterious great clan elder of the Dragon Subduing School, whose lifespan was 10 years, would appear. They believed that as long as the great clan elder of the Dragon Subduing School did not appear after sealing Chen Shang for 10 years, they would be able to attack the Chen martial continent at ease. Before, Duan Chong had contacted him, and at that time, Chen Shang would have him inform the Chen Martial Continent to prepare 10 years later. At that time, the Fire Divine Palace would attack. If everything goes well, I should be able to leave a year or half a year earlier. I hope everything goes well. Chen Shang ate the profounding pellet in his hand. This was his last crazy attempt and he had to condense the core of the seventh heaven pellet right this time. The energy that was as vast as the ocean surged inside his body, washed his tibia flesh, and was refined by him into an innate chi, which then flowed into his dantian, charging towards the pill embryo of the seventh heaven pellet inside the beast statue. Under the guidance of the philosophic stone, the innate chi would become extremely intelligent. Following the natural Tao technique, it would continuously tap into Chen Zhang's potential, strengthening Chen Zhang's body, and developing the heaven pellet for him. Under normal circumstances, one would only be able to condense heaven pellets after surviving 9 nirvana tribulations, but Chen Shang already had one long time ago, and it wasn't just one pellet but every beast statue had many. For example, right now, he was condensing the 7th heaven pellet from every beast statue. Using this method, high-quality energy could be used to condense a divine pellet that could hold a large amount of the innate chi. If not for the help of the philosophic stone, Chen Shang was still trying to comprehend how to guide the enormous innate chi to merge into the natural great way, to strengthen his own dantian. The 10 gigantic profound bings had refined an extremely high-quality profound bing pellet. Chen Shang, on the other hand, was only at the edge of breaking through. This made him a little excited, but at the moment, he only needed to wait for the arrival of Nirvana Tribulation 7. After going through the 7th tribulation, he would then obtain the mysterious and powerful power of giving, which could then be considered a true transformation. At the same time, it would also mean that he had stepped into the later stages of the Nirvana stage, which was also the most difficult stage. Boom, boom, boom. He took out the hammer of God, and crazily struck the invisible seal, clashing with the strong seal power. At this time, his power was much stronger than before. He wanted to try and shake the seal power, but it was useless as usual. What Chen Shang did not know was that when the Fire Divine Palace sealed him, he assumed that he was an immortal king, and used the powerful array disk that the Fire Divine Palace brought down from the heaven realm, as well as a large amount of resources. If Fire Divine Palace was unable to find a suitable amount of energy within a short period of time to use as resources for this sealing array, Fire Divine Palace would not be able to waste any more, because such a powerful seal would consume an astronomical amount of energy every hour. If the Fire Divine Palace had not thought that sealing Chen Shang was worth it, they would not have done this, because it was equivalent to burning spar. In order to maintain this powerful seal, they had buried countless spar here. How come you're not here yet? I have a feeling that Nirvana Doom is coming. What will happen exactly? It had already been a few days since Chen Shang refined the core embryo of the 7th heaven pellet, and he had a feeling that Nirvana Doom was about to arrive. However, he was currently sealed within this seal which was cut off from the world. He was worried that the Nirvana Doom would be affected because of this, and if he did not descend, he would not be able to break through. Unless you hide in the profound realm, it will be hard to escape. Especially to you, as an alchemist, the robbery power that appears will be very powerful, and if you can sense what you have, the robbery power will continue to increase, which requires a certain amount of time. Long Shui said. Chen Shang sat there obediently as he waited. He really hoped that his 7th tribulation would be very strong, and it would be best if he could break this seal. Head, it's bad. A middle-aged man suddenly rushed into a luxurious study, shouting loudly with a panicked expression. What is it? Tell me. How Master hastily asked, because this middle-aged man who suddenly rushed in was in charge of guarding that seal. There seems to be a problem with the array disk as it is frantically absorbing energy. The spar that we just transported over this morning was almost completely sucked dry in just an hour. Could it be that Chen Shang had done something inside that it has never happened before? How Master is an immortal king, he is extremely familiar with the array disks. He shook his head. It shouldn't have been Chen Zhang's fault. If he had that kind of ability, he would have done it already. He definitely wouldn't have waited this long. I'll go take a look first. Fire Divine Palace's palace mistress came to the outside of the seal. At this time, many people were busy placing many spars into the designated place to replenish the energy of the formation plate and maintain a few powerful formations. This would allow the seal to become unbreakable. Outside the auction house that Chen Shang was in, 2 stacked formation plates were spinning frantically in the air, absorbing many spars that could sustain the seals. Those spars were basically just put in, but in the blink of an eye, they disappeared, turning into transparent mist and entering into the two formation plates. Not only were these two array discs absorbing energy, they were also frantically devouring the surrounding spiritual energy, causing a huge energy whirlpool to appear in the sky above the profound ice city. It was slowly rotating, and a large amount of spiritual energy turned into a pillar of light that fell from the sky, entering the two array discs. Hall Master, if this continues, a lot of spar will be consumed. The two massive formation discs were absorbing energy at an increasing rate, as if they were monsters that could swallow the sea. No matter how many spars we lose, we have to continue filling them in. If Chen Shang takes this opportunity to escape now, all our 8 years of losses will be for nothing. Our plans to attack the Chen Martial continent will also end here. The palace master did not understand why it was like this, but he had no other choice. He could only continue to smash the spar, or else all his efforts would have been for naught. The news quickly spread, causing many people to think that Chen Shang was coming out. Many of the powers who planned to join forces to attack Chen Martial continent had stopped their plans. If Chen Shang the god of slaughter came out, then they would be sending themselves to their deaths. Although the dragon subduing school had just been established, outsiders never knew the extent of the dragon subduing school's strength. The dragon subduing school didn't have a leader right now, so he had never made any other moves, but if Chen Shang came out and led the mysterious and powerful dragon subduing school to sweep through DTN, no one would be afraid, especially the demons. Many people thought that Chen Shang was about to come out, and they all had mixed feelings, especially those big shots of the powers, but Chen Shang was currently lying inside the seal. It was extremely quiet inside, without even the slightest movement, which made his heart burn with anxiety. If Nirvana Doom did not come, then he would have finished his plan. Is it Nirvana Doom? I really want to go through Nirvana Doom in this situation, the middle-aged man asked. It's not Nirvana Doom because there is no robbery power. If it was, it would not absorb our spar, and it is possible that Chen Shang used some methods inside to weaken our seal. According to this method, he would not last long. We must not open the seal, and that brat is extremely cunning. We cannot open it at all, or else he would have escaped. The Hall Master had thought it through thoroughly. This was indeed caused by Nirvana Doom, but this kind of Nirvana Doom was different from normal Nirvana Doom. It was extremely rare. Even the Hall Master of the Fire Divine Palace had never heard of this kind of Nirvana Doom, which was why he denied it. Lying on the ground, Chen Shang suddenly felt something that appeared here. He suddenly sat up, only to see a semi-transparent person appearing, and his body was slowly becoming more obvious. Chapter 1175. After Chen Shang saw this person, he immediately took out the green dragon demon slain broadsword. It was because he felt that this person had a very strong killing intent towards him, as if this person was born to kill him. This was an extremely ordinary-looking man. He was dressed in black, with lifeless eyes, as though he was someone who had received a severe head injury, and his expression looked foolish, although it was so, but this person's body was releasing a powerful force, and the killing intent was extremely dense, causing Chen Shang to be on guard. Who are you? Chen Shang shouted as he looked at his opponent. I am the law enforcement heaven spirit, the person who has come to kill you. This person's voice did not contain the slightest bit of emotion as he lightly glanced at Chen Shang with his empty eyes. A person like you must not be allowed to live, you must be eliminated. Get rid of your sister. Since the other party had already said so, Chen Shang was not courteous at all. Raising his blade, he flashed over, aimed at the man's neck and slashed out a slash at lightning speed, slashing out a dragon power that shook the air. With a rumbling sound, in an instant, the divine blade in Chen Zhang's hand sliced past the neck of the law enforcement heaven spirit. But what was truly frightening was that Chen Zhang's powerful slash just now was like a chop in the air. It did not harm a single hair on that person's body, and although that person's body was translucent, he could still speak, so that person should be a living person without a mistake. Even if it was a soul type, that slash just now would have been scattered. This guy is not a human, he is just a spirit, and should be called a tribulation spirit. Didn't he just say that he himself is a law enforcement heaven spirit, so he came here specifically to kill you? That's right, this guy is the 7th tribulation Nirvana Doom that you have to go through. Long Shui said. He never thought that his 7th tribulation would actually be like this. As for that hollow spirit body, he naturally understood that it was the ancient spirit clan's very strong inherent skill. Ji Yu Dongchen only knew how to use it, and this inherent skill could make his body feel like air, and would not be able to injure him. How strong is this guy? Chen Shang held onto the green dragon demon-slain broadsword tightly, staring at the seemingly emotionless law enforcement heaven spirit. He felt the strange killing intent from the law enforcement heaven spirit. Chen Shang was also slightly angry in his heart, making him feel as if he was not welcome by the heavens. Very strong. Long Shui only had 2 words, and her understanding of these law enforcement heaven spirits also only amounted to this much. Die, the law enforcement heaven spirit said indifferently. Just as he said that, Chen Shang felt a sharp pain from his chest, and he also felt his breastbone breaking. Following that, an incomparable pain came from his chest, a tearing pain that caused him to scream out loud, and fresh blood spurted out along with his scream. Bastard! Chen Shang lied on the ground and looked at the law enforcement heaven spirit. Previously, he did not see nor did he sense that the law enforcement heaven spirit had attacked him, yet he was struck by a heavy punch. If not for the protection of the profound WU diamond armor, that punch would have penetrated his chest and destroyed his heart. This law enforcement heaven spirit was truly powerful, to even be able to beat Chen Shang up to the ground without him being able to detect anything. He didn't die. Continue to kill. Just as law enforcement heaven spirit finished speaking, Chen Shang immediately rolled on the ground. Just as he turned around, there was an extra footprint on the ground where he laid, and the entire auction place was shaking for a bit, causing the Fire Divine Palace people outside to be alarmed, afraid that Chen Shang would run out. Chen Zhang's heart still had some lingering fear, because that kick just now was aimed at his head. If he hadn't dodged it, the consequences would have been obvious. It was understandable for this law enforcement heaven spirit to be so strong, since the powerful robbery power had produced something that had such intelligence. Although the type of nirvana doom that he had endured before was very strong, it did not concentrate all of his strength, and it was all just a large area of attacks. And this law enforcement heaven spirit in front of him, not only did it not waste a large amount of robbery power, but also had an extremely lethal attack which made it difficult for Chen Shang. With the last 2 times, Chen Shang became even more vigilant, releasing all of his divine power to observe his surroundings. The speed was so fast that Chen Shang could not see it, and he did not dare to block it either, so he could only avoid it, because with this kind of ethereal body, you could not hit him, but he could hit you instead. This guy hasn't fully grown yet. I feel that he is slowly growing stronger, probably devouring the energy outside, and making himself stronger. This isn't a good thing for you. It's best if you kill him before he fully matures. Long Shui said. Chen Shang also wanted to, but he didn't even have the chance to retaliate. It was already good enough that he didn't get beaten up. But more importantly, he didn't even know how to attack this law enforcement heaven spirit with an ethereal body. Don't you have a philosophic stone? Try using a philosophic stone. This thing is very mysterious, you should know how to deal with this law enforcement heaven spirit. Long Shui said. Chen Shang secretly cursed himself for being so negligent, and actually did not think of this. The philosophic stone could comprehend everything about the natural way, and was extremely profound. It might be possible for him to pry into the law enforcement heaven spirit's weakness. He immediately took out the philosophic stone, and at the same time, he felt a strong chi approaching him, so he quickly dodged. At the same time, he also channeled his divine power into the philosophic stone, and unknowingly, a diagram of the innate chi appeared in his mind. This is it, this is the power that can attack this guy. Chen Shang was ecstatic. Under this state, the overlaid berserk dragon power struck the punch that was aimed at his forehead. Bang! A loud sound echoed from inside the seal. It was the first time Chen Shang had touched this law enforcement heaven spirit, and his entire arm was numb. He had retreated dozens of steps, and the law enforcement heaven spirit had only taken a few steps back. It was clear that there was a huge gap in strength between the two of them. This guy is really strong. I just like to fight with guys like him who are much stronger than me. Chen Shang took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Just now, from the philosophic stone, he learned that this kind of body that could deal with hollow spirits could be created by him using a little bit of innate chi to circulate the power of this body. Stop resisting. Law enforcement heaven spirit said indifferently. His body suddenly released a burst of gold light, and then disappeared. Chen Shang was shocked. He only felt that he was surrounded by the law enforcement heaven spirit's chi from all directions. He did not know which side the law enforcement heaven spirit would come from. Up ahead, Chen Shang sensed it, and just as he was about to attack, he suddenly realized that he could not move at all. His legs were grabbed by a pair of hands that came out from the ground, both of his wrists were held by 2 hands that appeared out of thin air, and his waist was held tightly by 2 arms. Chen Shang never thought that this would happen. Seeing that the strong enemy was attacking at him but he could not even move, he could only allow the enemy to destroy his body. Boom, boom, boom. The law enforcement heaven spirit's fists were glowing with a golden light and each of his punches would hit Chen Zhang's body causing explosions. The law enforcement heaven spirit's punches were extremely ferocious, as if he wanted to punch through Chen Zhang's body with his punches, but he was unable to do so. Don't think I'm easy to bully. Chen Shang roared. His body had already been punched for hundreds of times, even though he had the protection of the profound WU diamond armor S, but the shock wave from the punch seemed to be able to break all the bones in his body. Following his furious roar, a golden gale burst out from his mouth, bringing along flashing cyan lightning as it rushed towards the upper half of law enforcement heaven spirit, instantly engulfing the entire heavenly spirit realm. Chen Shang finally hit the law enforcement heaven spirit, and the hand that was holding onto him disappeared as well. After struggling free, he took out the green dragon demon slain broadsword and chased after it, slashing down fiercely at the law enforcement heaven spirit, and in that instant, there were dozens of heavy blades. The blades had all trembled the ground, the impact causing the air to explode, and it was extremely scary. Chen Shang did not expect that the law enforcement heaven spirit would have flesh and blood. However, what made him curse was, the law enforcement heaven spirit that was chopped into pieces, actually came back to life. He knew how to reform himself, and his speed was extremely fast. Chapter 1176. You can't kill him. You can't kill him. Chen Shang avoided the kick sent by the law enforcement heaven spirit. He was extremely anxious. At this moment, he could feel that the law enforcement heaven spirit was becoming more and more powerful. If he was still unable to defeat it, it would be very difficult for him. Outside, the two array discs were absorbing a huge amount of energy. The people of Fire Divine Palace kept on taking out Spar S, maintaining the array's operation. If it stopped, Chen Shang might just run out. They were very worried about this. And this was all because the law enforcement heaven spirit was absorbing the energy outside, strengthening himself, so that he could kill Chen Shang. Without the overwhelming superpower, it would be very difficult to defeat him. However, he is not invincible. He would need a very powerful strength to use his void spirit body or to reconstruct his body. Long Shui said. Chen Shang shouted angrily at the law enforcement heaven spirit, and attacked again. This time, he used the third killing move from the heaven-earth killing method, fusing three of them together, the star diagram above his head, the mountain and river beneath his feet, the killing god heart in his heart beating, releasing waves after waves of terrifying killing intent. It merged with the divine power in his divine sense C, turning into a type of momentum, causing his strength to become even more powerful, as though he was a powerful fighting spirit. The divine blade slashed out, releasing a dragon cry in all directions, and the green dragon soared out. Its eyes flickered with a red light, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, it rushed towards law enforcement heaven spirit. Roar! The dragon's roar shook the earth, and when the green dragon-shaped power rushed forward, the law enforcement heaven spirit wanted to dodge, but he was still a bit slow. His body was struck by the dragon head ruthlessly, the berserk power ripping the law enforcement heaven spirit into dozens of pieces. Chen Zhang's eyes suddenly lit up. Although the law enforcement heaven spirit was very strong, his body was very weak. Facing such a strong attack, he actually broke it, and even if it could be reformed, it was still a big weakness of his, and such a process would consume a lot of energy. You're nothing special. Chen Shang ran over and slapped his palm down towards the few pieces of flesh on the ground. The strong force that was surging through his body transformed into a huge flaming palm that ruthlessly smashed into the pieces on the ground, turning them into ashes. Boom, boom, boom. Chen Shang quickly struck his palms a few times, causing all the flesh on the ground to turn into dust. However, the law enforcement heaven spirit was not destroyed, and unexpectedly appeared right in front of Chen Shang. Even if he did not have a physical body, he could still reform it. This guy, I clearly used the God-slain method, so his soul should have suffered some sort of severe injury as well. Chen Shang clenched his teeth and said, I will not die. As long as the heavens and the earth are still there, they will provide me with endless power until I kill you. Law enforcement heaven spirit's voice was ice cold. His expression was like someone looking down at an ant, as if he could pinch Chen Shang to death anytime. Chen Shang laughed coldly. Don't think that you are invincible, aren't you also unable to kill me? In my eyes, you are just a heartless dog that has been bestowed with great power. While he was speaking, law enforcement heaven spirit had already attacked, releasing a powerful chi. His power was actually stronger than before. Bang! Law enforcement heaven spirit fiercely punched Chen Zhang's abdomen. Chen Shang was not able to dodge in time. His left rib was struck by the powerful force, causing the bones there to almost shatter, but he did not fly out, but retreated half a step and threw a palm towards Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit's head instead. The violent power of the heaven-blasting palm smashed Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit's head to pieces, and blood and flesh flew everywhere. Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit increased his tempo. Although his head was blown off, his body was still in good condition as he quickly unleashed 2 more palm strikes, which shook space and struck towards Chen Zhang's chest. Chen Shang only felt the bones in his chest being broken as pain flooded his body. The instant he was sent flying, he swept his leg towards Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit's lower body and broke his thighs. Chen Shang endured the pain and took out a few pills to swallow. This guy's body is just a piece of dregs, but when he attacks, every move will break the bones. Long Shui said. That's for sure, this guy's body has just been formed and is still unstable. Moreover, he doesn't need a strong physical body, there's no need for that. Looks like this guy really can't be killed. Since that's the case, I can only take the risk. I don't believe that this move can't kill him. Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit was in the middle of condensing his head, and just when he was about to condense it, he was suddenly enveloped by a translucent golden pill furnace. The heavenly alchemy was a super divine technique that could burn the heavens and the earth. Before, he had been warned by the White Tiger many times not to use it excessively, so he had restrained himself a lot and did not refine any more mountains. Now that the Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit was hard to deal with, he could only use this method to refine it. Even the heavens could refine it. He believed that refining this spirit formed from the energy of heaven and earth shouldn't be a difficult matter, and he might even be able to refine a powerful pill. The Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit was very strong. If he wanted to refine him, he would have to stay inside the pill furnace obediently, or have an extremely strong divine power to trap him inside the pill furnace, preventing him from breaking through the pill furnace in a short period of time. Little naughty dragon, lend me your divine power. Chen Shang sensed that the pill furnace was about to be broken through, and anxiously shouted. Long Shui had already made such preparations a long time ago. Chen Zhang's divine sense suddenly surging with a vast and powerful divine power made Chen Shang extremely shocked. He never thought that Long Shui's divine power would be so strong. It was a good thing for him. Don't think about it. Chen Shang quickly fused with the god power that Long Shui had transferred over, using it to stabilize the pill furnace. This was a pill furnace condensed from the heavenly alchemy. According to the records of the heavenly alchemy, as long as one had sufficient strength, even the legendary gods would not be able to escape. With such a powerful divine power, Long Shui was able to stabilize the furnace. Chen Shang did not know where the heavenly alchemy came from, but he believed in its power. Using the heavenly alchemy to refine things, doesn't that require a lot of flames? These flames are formed from absorbing the energy of the world, and are close to the power of the heavenly fire. Long Shui asked. Seeing Chen Shang using the heavenly alchemy to refine something powerful, she knew that she would get her hands on something. Chen Shang saw the anger on Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit's face and could not help but laugh. Don't worry, there is a special method to deal with this kind of situation in the heavenly alchemy, especially this kind of Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit that is connected to the heaven and earth. He himself is a powerful force of nature, let him burn himself. Suddenly, many spirit grains appeared outside the translucent pill furnace. Like threads, they gradually formed and filled the entire surface of the pill furnace. Chen Shang had created these based on the methods in the heavenly alchemy. These spirit grain would produce a strange power, which could make the things in the pill furnace flow naturally. Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit roared out, his body suddenly exploded and turned into a strong flame, burning the pill furnace. After Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit's body turned into flames, he immediately condensed a new body inside the furnace, then self-detonated inside the furnace, becoming flames again and again, causing the flames inside the furnace to become stronger and stronger. More than 10 days later, Chen Shang could not remember how many Law Enforcement Heaven Spirits' bodies had turned into raging flames, but the flames inside the furnace were already strong enough, and only now did he begin to burn this Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit. Su Meiyao asked in doubt, "Little scoundrel, how is this guy going to refine the technique? Will he refine out a body and another one will appear?" Chen Shang laughed. "That isn't it. As long as I refine this fellow's body until it is almost broken, there will be a slight pause, and when he recovers completely, we can continue to refine more. In this way, we can form many, medicine aura." He was obviously sent here to kill, but now he had fallen into someone else's pill furnace. This was probably the first time law enforcement heaven spirit met with such treatment. Although the law enforcement heaven spirit could injure Chen Shang and break his bones, Chen Zhang's recovery rate was also very strong, so it was difficult for them to have any results if this carried on, but it was different now. Chen Shang did not need to fight, as he could continuously drain the energy of the law enforcement heaven spirit. Chapter 1177. However, when he was about to be completely melted, Chen Shang would pause for a moment, allowing the law enforcement heaven spirit's body to return to its original state, and then continue to burn. In just 3 days, a large amount of energy had accumulated inside the furnace, which could be used to produce flames or could be used to condense pills. No wonder that White Cat told you to use the heavenly alchemy so carefully. It's too abnormal, it turned that guy into a dog. Long Shui laughed and said. Senior White Tiger said before, that back then 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord caused trouble because of the excessive use of the heavenly alchemy, and I am unable to use it now. Hopefully it is not like 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord, or else it would be hard for my power to resist it. Chen Shang was also worried. Chen Shang was enjoying his training inside, but the Fire Divine Palace outside were in a miserable state. Over the past 10 days, they had been consuming a large amount of spar-s every day, and they had to call over spar-s from various businesses that they had established in the Fire Divine Palace in DTN. They had already used up all of their spar-s in the Profound Ice City. Moreover, they did not know when would be the end. If they knew that their spar-s had all been refined into pellets by Chen Shang, they would definitely vomit blood right now. The Profound Ice City was protected by many powerful formations, which was why it was warm in the winter and cold in the winter. However, the spirit energy inside the Profound Ice City was currently being crazily absorbed by the 2 arrays sealing Chen Shang, and the one absorbing the spirit energy was the Law Enforcement Heaven Spirit. What made the Fire Divine Palace jump was not only the consumption of a large number of spar to stabilize the seal, but also the few big defensive arrays, showing signs of weakening and accelerating. In other words, the power of the few big defensive arrays were losing and rushing into the seal that trapped Chen Shang. Hall Master, we do not know how long we will have to endure for. If this continues, all of our Fire Divine Palace will be hollowed out, so we might as well kill Chen Shang, an old man suggested. As long as we capture Chen Zhang's wife alive, Chen Shang will obediently hand over the good stuff that he has. The value of the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword and the Dragon Bane far surpasses everything that we have right now. The Palace Lord said, we can't stop now. This might be Chen Shang messing around with something inside. If he wants to escape, we definitely can't give him the chance to do so. You have to understand, if the seal is removed now, even I might not be able to trap him any longer. I absolutely cannot relax. It would be too difficult to seal him once. The powerful law enforcement heaven spirit also submitted in front of Chen Zhang's furnace at this moment. He didn't know why, but after staying inside for a month, he stopped struggling and sat there cross-legged. His body was slowly incinerated by the flames, never to be reborn again. This surprised Chen Shang. He still hoped that the law enforcement heaven spirit would last a little longer, and then he would be able to concoct a batch of pretty good pills without spending any effort, but the pills that were being concocted now were not bad either. If they were to continue for another year or so, the Fire Divine Palace outside would be exhausted. At this moment, the seal had stopped devouring energy, causing all the higher-ups in the Fire Divine Palace to heave a sigh of relief. These past few days had been like a nightmare for them. Chen Shang did not know about what was happening outside, but that was a good thing for him. He was focused on condensing the pill, and there was a large amount of energy inside the pill furnace. The other thing that caused Chen Shang to cheer was that he could already feel the power of giving entering his body. As he was fusing with the power of giving, he was also compressing the pill furnace's energy. If he did not understand heavenly alchemy, he might still be fighting with the law enforcement heaven spirit that was hard to kill, and at the end, he would be the one dying. When this news spread, it made many people shocked. They all thought that Chen Shang had used more than a month in that seal, and had almost used up all of the spar in the Fire Divine Palace. But now that the seal had returned to its original state, it did not have any movements. Everyone thought that Chen Shang was just gathering his energy for a strike. Maybe he would not be able to do this anymore. It was truly a pity. The appearance of the law enforcement heaven spirit was related to Chen Shang, so it could be said that those spar were consumed because of Chen Shang, but Chen Shang did not know, so he managed to indirectly obtain the energy of those spar-s, which was the pellet that he was refining right now. After transcending the 7 nirvana tribulations, the power of giving that he obtained was different from before. Not only did these power of giving gradually take the form of his 7th heaven pellet, it also transformed his body and made it stronger than before. The most miraculous thing was that even though his body was already very strong, he was still able to improve greatly under the effects of the power of giving. Therefore, those who had undergone the nirvana tribulation would usually have a devastating golden body, which was the symbol of a person who had undergone the nirvana tribulation. Even the strength of the body would have the power to destroy it. Of course, if the original body's foundation was very strong, then the devastating golden body would also be stronger. Many people would become more hardworking after going through the 6 nirvana tribulations. For someone like Chen Shang, who had mastered a mortal devil body to a large degree, he was probably the only one. As a result, he did not know how strong his physical body was. In 3 days' time, his 7th heaven pill had already formed, and it was still increasing. In the future, he would cultivate to perfection and then condense the 8th heaven pill's core. But the power of giving was not over, and was still altering his body. At the moment, his body was shining with a bright golden light, and when the light flickered, he released waves after waves of powerful auras. Even he felt that it was inconceivable, because all of this was the power of his body. The pellet in the furnace had already been refined, it was 2 white pellets, but right now, Chen Shang did not have the time to eat it, but had the philosophic stone S in his hands, allowing him to unleash the power of giving better. Right now, it was extremely important to him. He felt that his body had to break through his immortal devil body, to reach a whole new realm. Thinking of this, he was extremely excited. The power of his body combined with the power of the innate chi, its might was limitless. From his point of view, the power of his body could make the innate chi stronger, and the strength of his innate chi could also make his divine power stronger. If you look at it this way, you should be able to break through the immortal devil body this time, and what kind of physical body would be there when the time comes? We personally witnessed this little scoundrel during the first stage of the immortal devil body, but not too long later, his immortal devil body reached large success, and he even stepped into a realm where even I do not know how strong his physical body is. Su Meiyao thought back to this matter and sighed. When they first met Chen Shang, they did not expect him to grow so fast. Bai Yuyu's heart was also filled with emotions. She couldn't help but think back to the first time she met Chen Shang, when she was completely naked with him, and this made her cold and elegant jade face to feel a little hot. If the body of the little scoundrel grows any further, it might even be the legendary body of Heavenly Sage. Long Shui exclaimed, "It's not easy for a human to reach such a state. If it's really like that, then his body will become even more abnormal than his own innate chi." Body of Heavenly Sage, body of Heavenly Sage, Bai Yuyu muttered to himself, and said, "Isn't this the realm that Master has always pursued the body? Shui Yi, if this little scoundrel reaches that level, how strong would his physical body be?" Su Meiyao asked in surprise. Body of Heavenly Sage should have this kind of power at the early stages. I never thought that such a strange thing would happen to his body. The realm of his fleshly body has already surpassed mine by so much, but in the future, it will be difficult for his body to improve. Long Shui was also looking forward to how Chen Zhang's body would change after the battle. Chen Shang closed his eyes, focused on holding the philosophic stone, and then following the philosophic stone's guidance, he started using the power of giving to achieve the best results. But now, he could clearly feel how fast his body was becoming stronger. Chapter 1178. Inside this run-down auction hall, Chen Shang sat in the middle as the golden rays of light on his body flashed dazzlingly, like the hot noon sun, making it hard for people to look straight at him. Chen Shang began to feel a little pain in his body. He discovered that the blood, bones, and muscles in his body, under the nourishment of the power of giving, were constantly being destroyed, reborn. With so much food being eaten and reborn, it was as if he was being reborn anew. Only the powerful bone soul inside his bones had not been destroyed. That was where his soul resided, the bone soul S, the two of them combined, causing his recovery speed to be extremely divine. He did not know how long this situation would last, but he was certain that his physical body was constantly growing stronger. It's always growing stronger. What terrifying physical strength! Long Shui used his divine power to peer inside Chen Zhang's body. That kind of shocking enhancement speed made her believe that if Chen Zhang's body really evolved into a body of Heavenly Sage, then the power of his body would surpass the power of the innate chi. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu had never heard of this kind of situation before. Moreover, their physical bodies had not yet reached large success of immortal devil body, and their flesh bodies had surpassed the immortal devil body. This was a realm normally pursued by people at the peak of the immortal king realm. But Chen Shang was getting closer and closer to the realm that many heaven realm rankers dreamed of. Failure to escape caused Chen Zhang's friends to feel extremely regretful, but they were still impressed by Chen Zhang's ability. This was because the spar that Chen Shang had used up all of Fire Divine Palace's energy. Even if it was revealed, it would have left them tongue-tied and tongue-tied. Even if Chen Shang did not come out, it would have caused the Fire Divine Palace to bleed greatly. Everyone said that they did not know that the seal devoured a large amount of energy because of the law enforcement heaven spirit. Chen Shang had transcended the 7 nirvana tribulations and met a strong law enforcement heaven spirit, but in the end, this law enforcement heaven spirit was refined into a pill by Chen Shang, and in the future, he would become a powerful part of Chen Shang. Ah! Chen Shang suddenly let out a long roar. The roar released a strong penetrating force, causing all the ceiling formations to tremble. The sound penetrated out, resonating in the air above Profound Ice City. The aura that looked down upon the entire world made many people feel fear, as though they were facing a god with the power to destroy the world. The golden light on Chen Zhang's body disappeared. It seemed like he did not have much of a change, but the power inside his body had undergone a tremendous change, becoming countless times more powerful. With the power of the 35 heaven pellets in his body, he could now fight against the immortals. Immortal ascension of the fleshly body. Long Shui took a deep breath. Is this body of heavenly sage? Chen Shang clenched his fist, sensing the powerful strength contained within the body of heavenly sage. He felt that he could kill a worldly immortal with one punch. Ha! Chen Shang stood up, suddenly shouted, and punched towards the sky. There was no innate chi, but the strong force was able to cause ripples in space. I can leave very soon, you bastard of Fire Divine Palace, wash your neck and wait for me to cut it off. Chen Shang clenched both his fists tightly, as his heart surged with emotions. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were both extremely excited, because they had personally witnessed Chen Shang cultivating his body of heavenly sage step by step, and Chen Shang was the person closest to them. He was the person who would be able to help them recover their peak level strength in the future. Even though your physical body is now strong, it will be difficult for you to have more room for improvement in the future. You have already reached the boundary of humanity. Long Shui lamented. Body of heavenly sage have always been something that could only be cultivated by powerful dragons. I never thought that you, a human, would succeed so early. Although it's only at the initial stage, it's already very rare. Long Shui, who usually liked to brag, had no choice but to admire Chen Shang at this moment. Chen Shang laughed out loud, and said, "It's rare that Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord praised me, and surprised and flattered me." Long Shui scoffed, "HMPH, don't be too pleased with yourself. Even though you made a breakthrough, you can't get out now either." This seal was very strong and was built according to the standards of a sealed immortal king. Just now, Chen Shang had punched the air and he knew how stable the space inside was. Even though his current strength was strong, he was still unable to use the power of the spatial laws to leave this place. Looks like this is the only way. Chen Shang took out a few dozen profound bings and said, "I refined these profound bing into destructive ice seal dan." Chen Shang explained further, "Even if I borrow all of your strength, I'm afraid that I won't be able to break this seal. But with this added on to the fact that we might still have a chance the moment the ice seal dan breaks out, and my body is not afraid of ice at the moment. I also have the profound WU diamond armor, so I can defend against the power produced by the ice seal dan's explosion." A single profound bing was enough to destroy the entire city, but now, with dozens of them merged together, their might was not only increased by just a few dozen times. "Understood, quickly start," Long Shui said. As long as the grain force was extracted from the profound bing powder, the remaining pure energy would not be destructive. If the grain force was kept, it could be refined into a destructive ice seal dan. Maybe dozens of profound bing wouldn't be enough, so I might as well use 100. Chen Shang thought for a while before he added another profound bing. Was very careful. If it were to explode, his Yanlong furnace might even break. However, Chen Shang did not dare to do it because he did not want his Yanlong furnace to explode. When he first refined it, it was because he did not know enough about the profound bing and was not prepared well, that was why it exploded. But it was different now. He had a very thorough understanding of the profound being and had refined it many times, so he was confident that he could refine 100 pieces of high-quality profound being into a destruction ice sealed Dan. More than 10 days had passed, and all 100 profound being had disappeared. They were all inside the Yanlong furnace, and currently the Yanlong furnace was trembling as it condensed into a ball of ice the size of a watermelon. This ice ball was still too big and its power was very small. Only by compressing this ice ball into the size of a grape could it be of a higher quality. Lend me your divine power. I need to speed up a bit, Chen Shang said to Long Shuiyi. At any moment, Long Shuiyi would have enough power to lend it to Chen Shang. She had exchanged blows with Chen Shang before, and her divine power was able to fuse perfectly with Chen Zhang's divine power in an instant. Chen Shang controlled the strong and huge divine power, wrapping the ice ball inside the Yanlong furnace. At the same time, he released strong flames, causing the structure of the ice ball to loosen up a lot, and then controlled the strong divine power to squeeze the ice ball, compressing it. It had to be known that the ball of ice was filled with the grain force and a pure energy that was as vast as the ocean. If it exploded out, the power would be unimaginable. Chapter 1179. The Fire Divine Palace thought that after Chen Shang struggled to escape, there was no other way to escape. At this time, they also began to implement their plan. They would send people to discuss with the powers that wanted to attack the Chen Martial continent and rope them in. At that time, listening to them, the Fire Divine Palace would only know, which would make it easier for the Fire Divine Palace to attack the Chen Martial continent, and the losses would also belong to others. As for whether the other powers would agree to it, it would still depend on Fire Divine Palace's sincerity and strength. Chen Shang had been trapped here for almost 9 years. He could guess that Fire Divine Palace would definitely have a lot of tricks up his sleeves. He was worried that the Immortal King from Fire Divine Palace would make a move. In Chen Martial continent, other than the White Tiger, no one else could fight against him. If he could get out, he could only use those super old poison to kill that Immortal King. Just a bit more. Hold on. Chen Zhang's divine power was also almost used up. The ice ball that was originally as big as a watermelon inside the Yanlong furnace was now as big as a walnut, and it was quickly compressed into a destructive ice sealed Dan. An hour later, the shaking Yanlong furnace stabilized itself. Chen Shang let out a long sigh of relief, then laid on the ground, gasping for air. I've finally succeeded. I'll be able to leave very soon. Chen Shang was very confident in the might of this destructive ice sealed Dan. He needed to rest. As long as he recovered to his peak, he could proceed with the next step. There were always people watching this sealing array. The guards were not weak, they were all worldly immortals, and could be considered to be one of the stronger powers in the Fire Divine Palace. They were sitting leisurely at the place, and had no idea that Chen Shang was about to come out. Chen Shang consumed the pill and quickly recovered. He was full of vigor, and when he thought about how he could leave the place and use the powerful energy of his body of heavenly sage to take revenge on the Fire Divine Palace, he became extremely excited. Lend me your strength. Chen Shang took out that destructive ice seal Dan and his hands couldn't help but start trembling. If he threw this destructive ice seal Dan out, as long as he received a fierce stimulus, it would explode. A golden and dazzling set of armor emerged on Chen Shang, making him look like a god. Long Shuiyi's vigorous dragon power could already be used by him as he wished. Ready. Chen Shang took a deep breath. After adjusting his condition, he fiercely jumped into the air and at the same time threw the ice seal Dan out, causing the pellet that contained a terrifying destructive ability to crash into the invisible seal that was shrouded over them. At the same time, he transformed the power of 35 of his heaven pellets into dragon power, and fused it with the boundless dragon power that Long Shuiyi had sent over. Adding in the power of his own body of heavenly sage, his current power became incomparably powerful. Boom! The destruction ice seal Dan exploded, and a powerful burst of cold air accompanied by a burst of chi spread out in all directions. In that moment, Chen Shang used the explosive force to blast out a punch towards the transparent seal. It was condensed with the powerful energy that he was able to use, accompanying the explosive force of the destruction ice seal Dan. Amidst the rumbling sounds, the entire auction place started to shake violently, and in an instant, it became a world of ice and snow. Chen Zhang's entire body was covered with profound bangs, and he was struck by the force of the impact. He was in extreme pain, but that was better, the soldiers did not heavily injure him. There it is. Chen Shang suddenly caught a glimpse of a crack in the ground where he had been attacked by a powerful force. Chen Shang immediately shot towards the crack, and the crack was quickly healing. He had underestimated the power of the seal array. He originally thought that he would be able to create a big hole, but there was only a small crack. I must get out. In the instant that the crack was about to close, he used up all his power from Divine Sense C and used the profound movement skill inside the transformation technique. He turned himself into a wisp of smoke and quickly passed through the crack. The people who were guarding the sealing circle felt it shake violently, and immediately turned pale in fright, and anxiously called for the hall master. The commotion just now was too intense. They did not understand how Chen Shang could use such a powerful force to shake the terrifying sealing circle. Furthermore, he could not open it. He was worried that the moment it was opened, Chen Shang would suddenly appear, and at that time, it would be very hard to grab hold of him. He's only at the end of his strength. This sealing formation is unbreakable. He's still inside, and he's only struggling uselessly. HMPH. He was an immortal king, so he was well aware of how powerful this grand formation was. Even if he was sealed inside, he wouldn't be able to come out. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief, but what they did not realize was that in that moment of violent shaking, a light wisp of smoke floated out and floated along with the breeze into the patch of grass at the edge of Profound Ice City. Because the Profound Ice City was protected by a large formation, flowers, plants and trees could be grown in the snowy lands of the profound cold ancient realm, and they were extremely lush and flourishing. Chen Shang had already exhausted all of his strength. Seeing the warm light that was being emitted by the light barrier that enveloped the Profound Ice City, his lips curled into a smile. I'm finally out. A year earlier, Chen Shang was very satisfied with this. He would definitely not let the Fire Divine Palace know that he had come out. After 4 hours, he had completely recovered. He had turned into an unassuming middle-aged man. He walked around the city, inquiring about what had happened during the past 9 years. What made him more pleasantly surprised was that the Chen Martial Continent's defensive capabilities were very strong. The strength of the entire body exceeded his expectations, and was able to resist the invasion of multiple powers from the third realm of the human demons over the past few years. Since they are all fine, then I am relieved. Fire Divine Palace, oh Fire Divine Palace, you shouldn't have tried to kill me, and even more so, shouldn't have thought of using Shenxian to threaten me. Chen Zhang's eyes suddenly turned incomparably cold, and he walked towards the city gate. The Profound Ice City was inside the profound cold ancient realm, and the Fire Divine Palace's secret underground palace was also inside. It was also a place that the Fire Divine Palace attached a lot of importance to, so Chen Shang decided to rush over there right now. It was not easy to build that underground palace. He thought that the Fire Divine Palace would not move the Ice Emperor away, and he felt that that place was most suitable for the Ice Emperor to absorb energy to revive. Chen Shang didn't know what the relationship between the Fire Divine Palace and the Ice Emperor was, but he knew that the Fire Divine Palace was in a hurry to revive the Ice Emperor. Not long after he left the city, Chen Shang saw some hidden codes on the ground, which only Duan Chong knew about, and they were the contact method that Duan Chong had given him. Following the secret signal, he found a piece of communication jade symbol paper. Elder Duan, where are you? Chen Shang used a jade talisman to send a message to Duan Chong. After falling into the chaotic space, Duan Chong came back alive. Chapter 1180, Little Brat Chen Shang, you really came out. Stay there and I'll come looking for you, was very surprised. He, the clan chief of the Duan clan, had read through many ancient books in many of the families and he was very clear on the power of that great formation. It was used to seal the immortal king. When Duan Chong came to the Profound Ice City through the transmission array, he discovered that it was still very calm here. He immediately understood that no one knew when Chen Shang ran out, and he secretly exclaimed in admiration at Chen Zhang's ability to actually escape from the powerful sealing formation without anyone noticing. He quickly left the city to find Chen Shang. Duan Chong had also changed her appearance before, although there were very few people who had seen him, but when Chen Shang saw him, he immediately recognized him. Duan Chong was surprised to see the middle-aged man in front of him. If he were not at this place where communication jade symbol paper were buried, he would not have believed that the middle-aged man in front of him was Chen Shang. Seeing Chen Shang smile at him, he nodded his head. Follow me. Duan Chong brought Chen Shang into the city. They arrived at a basement with many array formations. Chen Shang sat down and smiled. Elder Duan, it's really good to see you again. Duan Chong also laughed. I wanted to tell you this too. I didn't expect you to actually kill that Heaven Thunder Devil Lord. It's such a pity that I fell into a chaotic space and couldn't witness the instant you killed that Heaven Thunder Devil Lord. That guy hurt me. It's good that you're back. Chen Shang had always felt guilty about this matter, because he had opened the spatial door at the time, and Duan Chong had lost it when he had first stepped into the spatial door. Duan Chong didn't ask too much about how Chen Shang came out. He smiled and said, "I'm now your dragon subduing school's elder, our Duan clan doesn't have any other abilities. We only know how to steal tombs." After Duan Chong came out, he found Duan Sanchang, this grandson of his, who was always at work in the dragon subduing school, and found out that the dragon veins were in Chen Zhang's hands, and the Iron Lion army was also in the dragon subduing school. Without saying a word, he directly brought the Duan clan's few people to the dragon subduing school, ending their many years of wandering. With the Duan clan joining the dragon subduing school, Chen Shang would of course not mind them. Chen Shang smiled and said, "Of course I welcome Elder Duan to my dragon subduing school." Duan Chong laughed, "Hee, I never thought that my grandson and I would both be elders, and actually be of the same generation." Chen Shang had a rough understanding of what had happened in the past few years, so he did not have much to ask. He was more concerned with the lost history that Duan Chong had collected. "Elder Duan, is there anything related to the Ice Emperor in the history you've collected?" When Chen Shang asked this question, he did not expect much, but he did not expect Duan Chong's reaction to be so intense. Duan Chong's face was filled with surprise as he anxiously asked, "How do you know about the Ice Emperor? He is an extraordinary person." Chen Shang immediately became excited and said, "Tell me what you know first. I urgently need to know more about him, and the Demon Empress of Demon Charming Association doesn't tell me much, just a little. She says that the Ice Emperor is one of the 10 kings of the 9 emperors." Duan Chong nodded. "That's right, Ice Emperor of the 10 kings of the 9 emperor palace are vicious, cold, heartless, and addicted to killing. As long as Bingtian was unconvinced with his actions, they would all be wiped out, and the entire clan would be angered to the point of incurring the wrath of the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord and engaging in a great battle with the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord." Chen Shang asked, "The Demon Empress said that one of 10 Heavens Supreme Lord's arms was cut off by him, is that true?" Duan Chong shook her head. 10 Heavens Supreme Lord did indeed lose an arm during that great battle, and suffered a great loss of vitality. However, it was not done by Ice Emperor alone, and there is still Fire Emperor. At that time, during the great battle, only Ice Emperor and 10 Heavens Supreme Lord were left. However, in the end, the ambushed Fire Emperor suddenly appeared and plotted against him, allowing him to gain an advantage and freeze one of 10 Heavens Supreme Lord's arms before shattering it. Chen Shang was surprised. The two of them had actually teamed up, and they were even so despicable. And the last, both Ice Emperor and Fire Emperor have fallen. The alliance of the two emperors was actually killed by the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord. The power of the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was something that Chen Shang was extremely impressed with. Chen Shang pondered for a while, then said, "I know that Fire Divine Palace wants to revive the Ice Emperor. Could Fire Divine Palace be related to Fire Emperor?" Quote. Duan Chong frowned and said in shock, "Fire Divine Palace wanted to revive the Ice Emperor." As expected, the Ice Emperor is still with DTN. For people like them, it would be difficult for them to die completely. Back then, the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was probably also heavily injured and did not kill all of them. The Fire Divine Palace is related to the Fire Emperor, and should be established by the Fire Emperor. I think that the Fire Emperor's body was probably destroyed, and his soul was still there, or else the Fire Divine Palace would not be able to continue living until now, because back then, after the Fire Emperor had fallen, the Fire Divine Palace would quickly disappear, and only appear in the Heaven Realm after DTN broke up, becoming a strong power. It is very likely that the Fire Emperor wanted to revive the Ice Emperor. As expected, Duan Chong knew a lot of things and was very excited about it. "Elder Duan, do you know why the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord perished back then?" Chen Shang really wanted to know about this. "According to what I know, it's because of the things that the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord did that shook the position of those fellows. That's why those fellows secretly supported the traitor powers to deal with the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, and even sent some demon masters after them. Afterwards, there was even an earth-shattering battle, and it was said that DTN also broke down at that time." Chen Shang took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, caressed the blade, and asked, "Ice Emperor and Fire Yan Jing have a chance of reviving. Maybe 10 Heavens Supreme Lord can also do it. Maybe 10 Heavens Supreme Lord is still alive, or maybe he has been reborn." The white tiger had been reborn, so there was nothing impossible about it. "I don't know, but in short, no one in the real Emperor's tomb knows where it is." Maybe after you have gathered all the heaven-earth killing method, there will be other ways to find the place where his bones are buried. How many heaven-earth killing method you have now? Duan Chong knew that Chen Shang had found the celestial slain method in the heaven thunder purgatory. It's still the same, but I have the location of the beast slain method, in Sacred Beast's ancient realm. This was what the super old fire beast had told Chen Shang. The super old fire beast had also said that this was the place where he and the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord were born. Duan Chong exclaimed. As expected, this is the place where powerful beasts were born back then. 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was also born here. I wonder how it is like right now, but I can feel the danger inside. Chen Shang had always wanted to know where the Sacred Beast's ancient realm was. He had originally planned to ask the White Tiger about it, but he didn't expect that Duan Chong seemed to know about it. Where? This will have to wait for me to find. During DTN's reorganization, the positions in many places have changed. I will calculate the position from a new point of view when I return. Duan Chong knew that gathering all the heaven-earth killing method was very important to him, but that place was also very dangerous, so he decided not to tell Chen Shang about it first.